Do your research and know who you're hiring. Five Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz on AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Now, here are your hosts, Peter and CJ.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Sports 56 Mornings. You got CJ. No, Peter, he is still kicking it with the kiddos. I do believe he'll be back tomorrow. We've got a lot to get to on today's show. We've got that Rona still running around out there, impacting everybody's lives. So we will discuss that. We'll talk some about the free agency over in the NFL. If you missed it, Tom Brady, yesterday it was announced that he was going to be the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So we're going to discuss what that might mean for the NFL, for Brady, and for that franchise. Phillip Rivers, then as these dominoes begin to fall, Phillip Rivers goes to the Indianapolis Colts. Teddy Bridgewater goes to the Carolina Panthers, prompting the Panthers to allow Cam Newton to seek a trade against Cam's wants or desires. He's now looking, his team is now looking for trade destinations for him. So you may as well say Cam Newton is now out there in free agency, even though he is not a free agent. You've got all of those things. Plus, I want to delve into Marcus Mariota. Did he move too hastily here and deciding to go to Oakland, where we would all assume he is going to be a backup quarterback? So we're going to touch on all of those things and more over in the NFL. We're also going to catch up with Rob Fisher, maybe, probably, hopefully. Rob Fisher will join us at 9. We'll talk to him as some pretty interesting news broke in the sports world regarding the coronavirus, the NBA and the Grizzlies especially. So we're going to talk to him about that. We're going to see what he's doing with his free time. I saw him out there getting his announcing skills, keeping him sharp out there, announcing some stuff with his kids. So we'll talk some about that. And, hey, at 9:30, we're going to talk with Drew Hill. Drew Hill is going to join us at 9:30. We're going to talk about what this does, what the coronavirus and the NCAA's actions, trying to keep everybody safe from this pandemic, what that does for Tigers basketball, not just this season, but for the recruiting cycle as well. So we'll talk with Drew about all of those things. I'm not the only one here, though. This show is going to be steered, directed, kept afloat by the homie Similac Zach, America's soy toy. He don't eat meat. He can't be beat. He don't scream in his wildest dreams. He's got all this money because he don't chase no honeys. Zach Boyd, the Deacon. How's it going, Zach?
What's going on, CJ?
I'm all right. How are you, man?
Another day. It's another day. I'm starting to feel the effects of the I guess the virus.
What do you mean you're starting to feel the effect? Like change your wording, Zach, because I know you're not saying that you have it. You have symptoms. What do you mean?
I don't have it.
Okay.
It's just it's the routine of everything.
So now the virus has decided to throw off your routine. Now how so?
I don't know. It's just I think yesterday was just off. It just felt like I was missing something or I wasn't doing something. Something was off yesterday, and then it kind of like transferred early this morning to where I was kind of very sluggish getting out of the bed. Usually when I hear like my third or fourth alarm clock, I just hop up out of the bed like, all right.
You got like 20 alarms set.
Yeah. Well, more or less.
Okay. Man, it's throwing your life off, and it's really changing. The coronavirus being the it is really changing the way all of us go about our day-to-day activities. Of course, we've got that 6 feet rule. I was talking with my father. He's in Atlanta, and he just got a letter in the mail from the mayor of Atlanta announcing that the mayor issued an edict that is going to ban all evictions during this time, which hats off to him. That is a big step. You're seeing now more things from a social safety net begin to kick in and begin to try and take place, and people doing a really good job of trying to look out for some of the more vulnerable in our society. We did see yesterday, up in Detroit, their buses just did not run. The bus driver's like, no, we're not driving. You guys said you were going to clean the bus and you didn't. We're concerned because this is real public and it's real enclosed. We don't know who's getting on and what they have. It's probably best from a health standpoint if we don't run. So Detroit shut down their buses. Up in Chicago, not O'Hare. What's the other airport, Zach?
What
is it? Is it Midway?
Midway? Maybe?
Midway.
Yeah.
Midway had a couple of cases in their tower. Some technicians who were working in the traffic control tower at Midway International. 3 of them tested positive for the coronavirus. And that is one of those like connecting airports. Like you fly to Midway before you fly to your final destination. That hurt. That put travel back, cancellations and delays in airports. And some of us have been there. And, well, not in the airport for me, but on that Greyhound. I need to see what Greyhound's doing. I know Greyhound cannot be doing well.
They gotta scrub those things.
Man. But as somebody who's ridden on Greyhound and had severe delays and cancellations that really thrown off trips, I feel for those customers, those people in the airport who just want to get to their final destination. We also saw, in addition to all of those things, we continue to see the food and hospitality industry hit hard by this as people begin to do a better job of self-quarantining. It is going to hurt the restaurant industry, especially people whose lives depend on tips and people going out, people celebrating. St. Patrick's Day is a major day of celebration all over the country because we all like to drink the green beer, and we were not out there like that. Not only this weekend, but yesterday. All the things we talked about yesterday, Zach, didn't even cross my mind that yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I have forgotten entirely about that day. It's kind of, all of these things are kind of getting lost in the shuffle as we try and keep up with the ever-changing news going on in this world today surrounding the coronavirus.
Yeah, no, I didn't forget because it's 3 days after my birthday. So it's like,
and I feel bad for you, boy.
It's 3 days after my birthday. So.
Ooh, I feel bad. Got friends who love St. Patrick's Day. I feel bad for them. Got you whose birthday is falling right at the beginning stages of the quarantining. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for everybody whose birthday is coming up. You're not going to be able to celebrate quite the way you envision, quite the way you might be accustomed to doing so. Weddings.
Well,
what?
I think
Zach, you're not a normal dude, man. People, how old did you turn?
26.
26-year-olds aren't kicking it at the house with their church members.
Well, you don't know. You don't know that.
I do know. Text in. What's the text line, Zach?
67129. Text in 67129. If you're new, text 56JOIN to 67129.
And the phone line?
901-360-8255.
That's how you get in touch with the show. 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines and 67129 on the First Bank text lines. Text 56JOIN. 56JOIN. If this is your first time texting in, then just save us as a contact and you can text away. And I want to know, is that normal? Is it normal for 26-year-olds to spend their birthdays in the house with their church members? Because, see, I don't think that's normal. I think most people, when they turn 26, they want to turn up. They want to go out.
Well, most of my friends are in church. So it's like, for me, it's normal for me to kind of like say, hey, y'all just come over. Let's just kick it. Mm-hmm. We ain't got to go anywhere. We kicking it here at the house.
Yes.
Like,
yes. You want to be around your friends and you want to hang out with your friends on your birthday. Most people, though, I'm willing to bet you most people want to do that at a bar or a club or some type of an establishment, maybe even a lounge. Just a lounge. Let's just go to a lounge, grab a couple drinks, and see what the night holds. But you're catching a buzz off of cake and ice cream, so.
Listen, man, it was strong, man. Like, you just don't understand. Like go without eating cake, ice cream, or any type of sugary substance for about 3 months, and then come back and like eat that again. Like try to eat like the normal portions that you would eat before then. I promise you will feel a difference.
I have stopped eating fast food, pretty much. Once or twice a month, I can go and get some fast food. Some of that, all of that is because of my wife and how her stomach is set up, and she really can't handle the fast foodiness of the fast food. When I go and eat fast food now, it does not taste good. It does not taste the same. I used to love, and I know recipes have changed also. I know that. I used to love McDonald's chicken nuggets. But them chicken nuggets from 96, 97, they hit completely different than the chicken nuggets now. Like, it just doesn't taste the same to me.
Grandma's cooking ain't the same.
Yeah, if grandma's McDonald's, then yes, exactly. Exactly. But the coronavirus has changed most of our day-to-days, and it is continuing to impact us in ways that we didn't imagine. New York, we talked some about the transportation industry catching a hit. We talked about Chicago and Detroit. Well, New York is asking for a bailout from the government, and the United States' largest public transit authority is asking for some money to help them out, because if we're self-quarantining, guess what? People aren't out there riding the subways like that. And so they're asking for a little bit of help as well. And I don't know what to do with I do know what I would like to see happen, but from the transportation industry, I don't know what the government is going to do. I know that it is our responsibility to try and help this food and hospitality industry the best we can. You can do so many different ways. Get it to go. Get your food to go. I'm pretty sure Memphis has lifted ordinances on parking on the street, now, especially areas like downtown and off historic Main and South Main, and in other places. Just park outside, call in well in advance, have them cook it, wait outside, call them when you're there. Most people are bringing it out to your car, so you don't even have to worry about running the risk of being inside. So definitely you can get things to go. You can, like we always say, get gift cards. Gift cards are huge. Gift cards are so valuable. They just need that money right now. In which you getting the gift card, you're going to spend that money anyways. You would have spent it anyways, be it today, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, a month and a half, 4 months from now. You're going to get that meal. You're going to get that service. They just are really hurting right now from a monetary standpoint. So definitely see about getting a gift card. Tips. I am a tipper. I get people who can get kind of annoyed by the tip, but I tip. Consider tipping more, double of what you usually tip, and giving a tip to the people in the kitchen as well. That those are all things that we can all do to try and help out in our community. A lot of these small restaurants, these small businesses rely on us, and they're hanging on by the slimmest of margins. So this moment, this pandemic, the isolation and the self-quarantining of everybody can really, really hurt them and maybe cause some to close down. It's also on the government to help these places out, but we can all do a little bit and do our parts as well. In the sports world, four Nets, one of them, Kevin Durant, tested positive for the coronavirus. People we didn't think would have it. They tested positive, and they played the Celtics on March 3rd, 3 days before the Jazz did. So according to a timeline, if you look at this, the Nets players, it looks like, had it before the Jazz players did. Rudy Gobert and them did. And in that time frame from March 3rd till the suspension of the NBA season, the Nets played the Spurs, the Bulls, the Lakers, and the Memphis Grizzlies. And that's just where that just goes to show you how, even though you're feeling fine, even though you're asymptomatic, which 3 of the Nets are, one of them is showing some symptoms of it. But even though you're asymptomatic, you can spread this. And it doesn't take much for you to spread it. And you can give this to other people in your community. And it's why staying away from everybody to the best of your ability is so important. It can't be, hey, I feel fine. I don't feel like I have anything. I'm good. I'm going to go out. No, because you go out, you touch a salt shaker that's on a restaurant table. You get up, leave a nice tip. You leave, you feel good about yourself. Hey, I did my part. I'm helping out the restaurant industry. You go home, the next person comes in, they touch that salt shaker, they cough in their hand, or they rub their eye, or something like that. It gets into them, and now they have it. And that is how quickly this thing can spread, and why it is so important for everybody to do their best to self-quarantine.
Yeah, like when that news dropped, all I could think about was, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could say was like, oh no. Like,
Yeah.
like hopefully, hopefully, like none of the players have, they end up attracting the virus. But when that news dropped, all I could think about was like, yeah, like they just played the Brooklyn Nets like 2 weeks before this virus hit the United States, and it was like, yeah, like we need to test. We need to test our players. We gotta make sure that they are doing all right.
We need to test not only the players and so far
Everybody.
of the people I've heard have it. It's always been celebrities or athletes. The NHL, Ottawa Senators, one of those players had it for the first case in the NHL. So it's been confirmed that one of the Ottawa Senators had it. They didn't say a name, or I didn't see a name. And Mayor Bill de Blasio, New York City mayor, sent this tweet out after finding out that 4 Brooklyn Nets players had tested positive for the coronavirus. He said, quote, "We wish them a speedy recovery, but with all due respect, an entire NBA team should not get tested for COVID-19 while there are critically ill patients waiting to be tested. Tests should not be for the wealthy, but for the sick." Which, hey, everybody should be getting tested. I don't want to make a differentiation between anybody. If you want to get tested, you should be able to get tested. We've seen that the best way, the absolute best way, South Korea handled it. They tested and tested and tested, and yes, the cases went up, but the curve that we are talking about, South Korea didn't have that spike. South Korea didn't have that spike in deaths, which overwhelms health systems. South Korea's is more of a flattening out of their curve, and it's lower. And it's lower. And it's lower for a longer period of time before it tapers off. And they are able to do that because of the way they tested and how rigorously they were, or how rigorously they went after everybody to get them tested. Because you get tested, you know what you got, you wait 14 days, and then you can go back out. And you don't run the risk of infecting more people. And if we don't get more testing, and if we don't get more people on board with this self-quarantining, if the government and others don't step in and make it an truly incentivize staying at home, we're going to see that spike that we don't want to see, because we can't handle a spike in symptoms. And with that spike in symptoms comes a spike in deaths. And we see now the Army engineers, they're out there getting ready to build triage centers. New York City, back on them, looking at using abandoned buildings as like medical care units for corona patients. We've seen that San Francisco has a shelter in place. It's looking like New York is moving that way. I'd imagine before this week is up, all major cities would be in a shelter in place type situation. We've seen Target, Walmart, those big stores announce that we're not going to be 24 hours anymore. Where Walmart is saying 24-hour Walmarts are going to have to close 11 or midnight at some point in time, so we can wipe everything down, properly sterilize, and restock the shelves, because things are just flying off at a rapid rate. You know, you're seeing Target say similar things, and I do believe both. I know Target has. I think both Target and Walmart have announced, listen, we're going to reserve that first hour of business operations for the elderly and the immunocompromised. So we want them coming in, work with us, give us a chance here to help them out, and you help them out. Wait, if it says we open at 9, try showing up at like 10:30 so we can get them taken care of and get them out before everybody else comes in, because we know how this virus wreaks havoc on the older people in our community and on the immunocompromised.
And like the outrage, well, not necessarily an outrage, but the reaction to this is interesting, because I sit and like read Twitter, watch the videos, and like look at people just looking at the worst of people's personalities come out of them because of this virus. And I'm very big on character. Like, listen, we're all in this boat together. Like, whether you like it or not, like, not one person is above another. That's kind of how I view things.
Okay.
And so we're all in this together. So like, there's no need for there's no need to hoard things. There's no need to there's no need to just acting all kinds of ways just to get the things that you need for your household. Like, it's not a civil war out here, people. Let's just.
I'll tell you what. We'll come back from break and we'll talk more about those things. You guys, please feel free to be a part of the show. Text in 67129 on the First Bank text line. Call in 360-8255. I want to hear about how you spent your 26th birthday party, and is it normal to be at the house at 26 with your church members? Give us a holler. We want to hear how you're spending the quarantine. If you're quarantined, what you're doing with the kiddos, because that's always a big thing. I do believe the zoo has some real interesting cyber things going on. So we'll talk about all those things and more right here on Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat every afternoon for Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, right here on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
You're scrambling around. You need a haircut. Where you gonna go? I got a place that has 15 locations. I've got a place where details matter. I've got a place that can be invigorating and relaxing at the same time. You know what it is? It's Supercuts. Every haircut ends with the signature hot towel finish. Every haircut matters. When you're getting ready, you go into Supercuts. The stylist will pay attention to every detail, so you get the haircut you want. And, of course, you're going to finish with that signature hot towel. You walk out clean, sharp, and not just ready, but super ready. And you might want to ask that hairstylist about what the tea tree experience is. One part invigorating, one part relaxing. The tea tree experience is something you need to try. 15 locations. I mentioned that, didn't I? All you've got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll find the one nearest to you. Get super ready at Supercuts.
Hi, folks. Jeff Jackson, General Manager at Sunrise Collierville. Thinking about a new or used car or truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Listen to what Sunrise has to offer. Over 1,000 Buicks and GMCs to choose from with factory rebates up to $6,500 and discounts as high as $10,000. Bad credit, bankruptcy, slow pay, it's okay. Here at Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing. If you got a job, you're approved at Sunrise, the #1 volume Buick GMC dealership in the Mid-South, the home of the guaranteed credit approval. See us online, sunrise@collierville.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Getting down on the roof to hear the funk was flaming out of control. It was so entertaining.
What's the theme today?
When the boogie
It's disco.
Disco. Okay, burn, baby, burn. Welcome back in, everybody, on this wet Wednesday. But what else is new? It's going to be raining today. It's going to rain most of the day today, actually. It's going to rain on Thursday also. We're going to have some drizzle on Friday before it opens up for us on Saturday, just for it to rain Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's real wet out there.
Yeah, it's raining right now. Like I'm looking at it.
Is it? Okay, I can't tell.
Yeah.
But okay, so it's raining right now
Yep.
up here on the mountain?
Yep.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. CJ and Zach got you today. We talked some about all the other precautions and all the, not necessarily precautions, but all the measures some industries are taking. Target announcing that they're going to reserve the first hour of business for the elderly and the immunocompromised. So everybody please respect that. Walmart and other stores announcing that they are closed. I think Cash Saver over there off of Madison is also 24 hours, but they're announcing, hey, we got to close so we can restock the shelves and make sure you've got what you want, you need, and wipe everything down and properly sterilize. So just be mindful, check. We're accustomed to waking up. I know I am waking up wanting to go. I call it an adventure where it's 12:45, kind of hungry, don't want what's in the house. Hey, let's hop in the car and ride. And if we get far enough, surely I'll hit a Walmart at some point. Let's run in that Walmart and just grab something out of there. But be mindful that those stores are no longer going to be, some of those stores aren't going to be 24/7, especially when you wake up, and this has happened to me a couple of times. Somebody in my household has fallen ill all of a sudden, because that's the deal with some of these diseases. I'm not talking about corona. I'm talking about other stuff, stomach bugs, flu, stuff like that. Somebody wakes up in pain, hurting, and needs something from the store because we don't have the proper medicine at the house for whatever reason. And you have to go out and you have to find one of the 24/7 spots. Be mindful that all of them might not be open. Just double check that as they try to, again, properly stock shelves and sanitize everything. Came across this video on the Twitter, and it made me happy to see people finding creative ways to explain what you need to be doing individually to protect yourself and others from the coronavirus.
Spraying all the knobs with Clorox. Told him don't touch that spot. Busting out the masks and the gloves. I just sanitized all my stuff. Have to stay at home for a month. Buying all the TP up. Everybody's acting crazy. Society's breaking down. Till I can't make you angry. So just stay inside your home. Social distance. Wash your hands and wipe your phone. Keep your senses. I know it's hard to be alone, but get inventive. Download new apps on your phone or be artistic.
Oh, yes. Download those new apps. Be artistic. We played some board games yesterday.
What kind?
Scrabble. Scrabble. That's my jam.
I love a good Scrabble.
Don't play with Peter. He's the GOAT. But everybody else, you play against them. Scrabble, like Chinese checkers, dominoes, those sorts of things.
He knows how to use those that W.
Yes, the Q.
The Q.
He's got the 2 and the 3 words on lock.
Really?
Yes. So if you gave him a Q, he doesn't need much. He can make that Q wiggle. and end up with a triple word score off 2 letters and end up with 30-something points. We played on there once. It was not good for me. It never play again. Never play again. We played with Kari, actually, on air.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's good?
No.
No.
Kari's like everybody else.
Just basic.
Kari's regular. Kari's regular like you, me, and everybody else. Peter's the one you got to keep an eye on. He's the one to keep an eye on. So we talked some last segment about the Grizzlies and the Brooklyn Nets. Not because those two teams are playing anytime soon, but because 4 Brooklyn Nets players tested positive for the Rona. One of them is showing symptoms. One of said players is somebody who I guess people know. I don't know. Kevin Durant. Anybody heard of that guy?
I think I've heard of him.
Okay, yeah, he's got it. Among 3 others in the Nets organization, the Nets played the Celtics on March 3rd. And in the 3-day, and that was 3 days before the Jazz did. And in the subsequent games after that game against the Celtics, they played the Grizzlies, the Spurs, the Bulls, and the Lakers. No common opponents with the Jazz. And that's the thing. As we try to figure out how to slow down the spread, you always want to find the person or the group spreading it. But the coronavirus spreads so quickly, it is hard to get to the bottom of it. So it is just best for everybody to assume that you got it and operate like you have it. Even though you may be asymptomatic, please keep 6 feet between you and others. Be sure to wash your hands. I can't stress that enough. It's been told to everybody. I'm watching the same stuff you watching. I'm talking to the same people you talking. I got connections like you got them. And everybody keeps saying the same thing. Keep your distance. Stay in the house as much as you can. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face, which is freaking impossible. My nose itches right now. Oh, my gosh. I can't keep my hands off my face. Malco. So, I saw Rigo do this Sunday night, I feel like. Rigo movie theaters. I worked at a Rigo. First job, first part-time job was at a Rigo movie theater.
I know you got some good stories.
Oh, I got so many. I'll sprinkle them in there. But they announced that they were shutting down their theaters. And it was, oh, my gosh, so no movies anymore. And then I had to remember, Memphis is a Malco city. I wonder what Malco is going to do. And last night came the news that Malco's also going to shut down theaters as we try to all practice more social distancing.
Does that include the drive-through off of Summer?
I hope not. Is the drive-through a Malco?
Yeah.
It is a Malco drive-through.
Yeah. Because like you said, I read the same thing on Twitter, but also they said that the drive-through was going to be open, where you can just sit in your car and just watch the movie. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's social distancing because you're in your car. You're not getting out of your car.
I think it's open.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be open 7 days a week now.
Yeah, 7 days.
So that is good. If you have yet to go to the drive-through, it's a lot of fun. Have you been?
I've never been.
If you go, it is a lot of fun. Pick a bright movie, a brightly colored movie, a nice cartoon. I think, what is it? Homeward? Homeward is out. That's a cartoon out. And some of the brighter superhero movies. Oh man, it is super, super fun, and it's really good. So the Grizzlies, and wait a second. I'm not sure. Is it open?
No, it's not open.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they closed down all
of them, including the drive-in. Dang it.
Yeah. That's
man.
Unfortunate.
Okay. You know what else is unfortunate?
What's that?
Buffalo Bills against Tom Brady. I do believe the Bills have won 3 times since Brady against Tom Brady. I think they've won 3 times against Tom Brady. I think Brady's record versus the Bills is like 32-3. But thankfully, Tom Brady is gone. Tom Brady is gone, and everybody, not just Buffalo, but New York and Miami, everybody can rejoice in the fact that Tom Brady is no longer wreaking havoc in the AFC East. Tom Brady, for those of you who missed it, is going to be joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's right, Tom Brady, after announcing that he was going to continue his 21 year NFL career elsewhere outside of New England. It was announced yesterday afternoon, that he would be down in Tampa joining that team. And we can talk about that some, and we will talk about that some here in a minute. But first, let's hear from Buffalo's mayor about the coronavirus and Tom Brady.
Just a reminder, bars and restaurants are open for takeout and delivery only. So for those of you that want to celebrate Tom Brady leaving the New England Patriots and hopefully leaving the AFC East, there are no mass gatherings. Celebrate responsibly, celebrate at home, and with less than 10 people present.
The joy in this man's voice as he tries to be professional. And what really gets me is right next to him, they have the sign linguist.
Yeah.
And the joy in her face as she signs Tom Brady is leaving lets you know Tom Brady ran Buffalo. He ran Buffalo, he ran New York, he ran Miami.
Yeah, I'm looking at the head-to-head matchups, like the last few years with Brady and the Bills. Like I'm seeing a lot of L's than W's, man.
Tell me how many W's do you see? Because they keep in mind, people, Tom Brady has to play Buffalo at least twice every season, and sometimes they play in the playoffs. I don't know how many times they played in the playoffs, but they play at least twice.
So Brady, what year Brady came in the league? Was it
01?
01.
01. That's when he came in for Bledsoe.
All right. So 01, where they have 4 wins. The Bills have 4 wins against Tom Brady.
And we're not sure if click on that game that they won in 01. Because that might have been Bledsoe-led New England, not Brady-led New England. Because I'm pretty sure they only got him 3 times.
No, the Bills lost to the Patriots in 01.
Okay.
This 03, that's the closest win to 01.
So the Bills have 4 wins against Tom Brady since Brady became. What, did they beat him in 08? Because he wasn't there in 08.
Yes.
Okay, then
twice.
So the Patriots beat the Bills twice in 08 without Tom Brady?
Yes, 20-10 and 13-0.
Good Lord. I don't know why you're celebrating then, because it might just be a New England thing. My goodness. But Tom Brady is taking his talents to Tampa Bay, and that is huge for the Buccaneers and Bruce Arians and that organization. And organization, when we talked about it yesterday, I thought that Chargers made a lot of sense for Brady. That was the team I thought he'd go to. Hometown kid, hometown team, got a lot of weapons there. But we also heard reports that Tampa Bay was also in the running for Tom Brady. And just think about the weapons that they have. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard. This is a team that is, like, offensively looks pretty good from a weapon standpoint, from a skill standpoint. And now you get Tom Brady. Sure, he's not the type of quarterback that does things Arians would like. Arians likes to get his quarterbacks to push the ball down the field, likes to have them throw those deep balls, likes to have them throw those deep ins and outs. And Tom Brady, be it by design or by lack of will or by something physically, wasn't that quarterback last year. And I don't think had been that quarterback since like 2017, maybe. And so Brady's going to have to get in that system and get used to the system, and Arians is going to need to find a way to utilize Tom Brady in the best possible way. But on paper, man, if they can protect him, that looks like a team that is going to certainly be in contention for the NFC South.
And think about it, and also, I'm just throwing in this little caveat. You remember the whole Antonio Brown saga that happened where he was with the Steelers?
Yep, remember all of that? Yeah.
Voided out that big contract that could have set him for life.
Yeah, I remember all of that.
Yeah. So he's still close with Tom Brady, apparently. And it's looking like that Tom wants him to play with the Bucs.
Ooh. I don't know. that's in the NFL. Those types of things don't happen often. I don't feel like where you get your buddy on to play with you, especially a high profile friend of yours to come play with you on a team. The salary cap and the structure is being what it's being is not quite as easy. So I don't think that's going to happen. But if you wanted to envision Antonio Brown's on one side with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the other side with O.J. Howard lined up at the tight end spot, that is dangerous. That is dangerous.
Yeah, Brown is still under investigation for all of his shenanigans.
Right.
But like you said, like that is pretty dangerous. Like a four-headed monster in the passing game. Like,
but even without Antonio Brown, they don't need an Antonio Brown. Even without him, with what they have, Jameis Winston went off last year. That's what I don't think people lost in Jameis's Jameisness. Jameis. Oh, boy. 30 interceptions.
That has
First to ever do it. But lost in all of that is the fact that if he had just 22 interceptions, the Bucs possibly would have won more games, and we would have a different view of Jameis. Certainly, because the numbers he put up last year were really, really good, minus the 30 turnovers. And Jameis Winston, from a career standpoint, his numbers are pretty good, minus, of course, all the damn turnovers. All of them. I think I saw where from 2015, that's when Jameis came into the league, his 111 turnovers are the most by any player in the league. 111. He's been in the league 5 years. 111.
What is he seeing out on the field?
Jameis might need glasses. Didn't he have LASIK?
He did.
He had LASIK. I hope that works for you, boy.
That was funny. That was funny. When
there was with Evans and Godwin on that team. 2,000-yard receivers on the team. Jameis has a remarkable statistical year. And then we look at the 30 interceptions, though. It's just like, no, we can't do that.
30 for 30.
If Jameis can do that with these weapons, if Tom Brady can just push the ball down the field ever so often, Jameis got a cannon for an arm. And Brady didn't have that and certainly doesn't have that now. But with Evans, as big and as physical as Evans and Godwin are, if Brady can just push the ball down the field 4 or 5 times a game, you're going to get a couple of big plays, and that's going to free everything else up underneath.
Over under 30 touchdowns for Tom Brady.
Over.
Over?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say 30 interceptions, to which I'd say under.
No.
Has Brady thrown 30 interceptions in his entire career?
I don't think so.
Check on that for me, because that 30 mark, that 30 spot by Jameis is something remarkable. We'll get that for you here shortly. Don't you dare touch that dial. We're going to talk more about these NFL free agent quarterbacks. We're going to talk about where Phillip Rivers, Teddy Bridgewater, where they are going. We're going to also get into what's next for a couple of other quarterbacks, Cam Newton and what's my man's name up in Indianapolis? Why am I having a moment?
Phillip Rivers.
The quarterback last year.
Brissett,
Jacoby, what it means for those two specifically. And we're going to talk some about Marcus Mariota's decision to go ahead and sign with the Raiders way before all the other dominoes fell. Don't you dare touch that dial. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Spring has arrived. That means the sale has come to James Davis Men's Store. 20% off on all seasonal sports coats and suits. Oh, that Paul Batenley suit deal still going on. It's been extended. 2 suits for $795. Normally $595 a piece. You're saving $400. They love to give you incentives at James Davis Men's Store. So now you can get $50 off on any purchase of $250 or more. And for years, I've been bragging about those incredible custom shirts, the system that we call Stant. James Davis is the only place you can get those, and now you can do that with pants. With the pants, you just take 2 measurements. It's fed into a computer, and the algorithm spits out a perfect fit try-on pair of pants. They start at $168, and you can get them in casual and dress, 5-pocket or plain front. Only the best at James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. The spring sale is on.
Hi, it's me, your nose. I'm so congested. Use the Vicks Sidex nasal spray, would you? Mouth breather. Yeah, the Vicks Sidex nasal spray starts working in seconds and lasts for up to 12 hours.
I can breathe again. Vicks Sinex nasal spray is incredible. I feel like a whole new nose. Oh, let's buy a new car so we can smell it. Oh, we're really breathing now.
For nasal congestion relief, get Vicks Sinex and breathe freely fast. Use as directed.
I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company. The coronavirus situation is causing a lot of cancellation of events, schools, concerts, sporting events, and all kind of social gatherings. It's called social distancing, but you do not have to be distant mentally from everyone in the community because Flynn Broadcasting is with you. We love you. We want to make sure that you are connected and protected from the coronavirus. So keep listening to this Flynn Broadcasting station. We'll keep you informed, we'll keep you in touch, and we'll keep you connected to your friends. So as soon as this situation is over, we can go back to our normal living. I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company saying we love our community, we love you as individuals, and we are committed to your well-being.
The construction reduction event is on at Wolf Chase Honda. Exciting changes are in the works and inventory must be reduced. Get the best deals right now on all remaining 2019 Hondas while they last. Every new car, every certified, every used car, price to go. Get pre-approved now at wolfchasehonda.com. Wolf Chase Honda is expanding and our prices are dropping. Don't miss these savings. Act now. This huge construction reduction event ends soon.
For the best lineup of quality, fuel-efficient, and fun-to-drive vehicles, get to Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan. Over 1,000 new certified and pre-owned vehicles in one great location. Catch the savings now during our huge model year-end sales event. Score an amazing deal at Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan and get to the game in style at Germantown Road and Highway 64. Family-owned since 1981.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
What's up? Welcome back in Sports 56 Mornings. Peter and CJ. We talked some about what could be expected for not really what can be expected, but you know, the thought of Tom Brady in Tampa is really fun and really exciting and leads you to wonder if Tampa Bay can win that division. Now, you got to go through a New Orleans Saints team that went out there and took care of business with their own free agent and made sure to lock Drew Brees back up. And Brees and Alvin Kamara and that whole Saints offense have things rolling. Michael Thomas, another one of those arguably best receivers in the NFL. That connection is very important. They can continue to do some pretty special things for the foreseeable future. But you've got 2 times now. You're going to get to see Tom Brady versus Drew Brees twice this NFL season. That's going to be fun. And over in Carolina, looks like the Cam Newton era is over with. Teddy Bridgewater going to the Panthers, and the Panthers are allowing Cam to find trade partners for him, much to the chagrin of Cam Newton, much to his displeasure and disdain.
Yeah, I did. I went and looked at Tom Brady's interceptions, see how many he had. The highest that he had was 14 in the season, and he did it 3 times. That was the 2002, 04, and 05 seasons where he had 14 interceptions. Now, on the flip side with Jameis Winston, his 30 interceptions was tied 7th overall for quarterbacks that have thrown
all time.
All time.
How many total interceptions does Tom Brady have?
Total interceptions. He has 179.
In a 20-something year career.
Yes.
He has 100 and how much?
79.
In 20-something years.
Yes.
Jameis would hit 120 in 4. Is my math right on that? If he's throwing 30 interceptions a year, 30 times 4 is 120. Yeah. Yeah, James will hit that in like 4 years plus 3 games.
Good grief.
Yeah. I don't know where Jameis goes. But he's not in Tampa. He's definitely got to go someplace else. And the NFC South is now really intriguing from a quarterback standpoint where you have Brady and Breeze. And then with the 2 other teams, you have quarterbacks like Teddy Bridgewater, who, when he plays, he wins. We saw him go 5-0 last year with the Saints when in games that he started. We've seen him be really, really good before that terrible knee injury sidelined him for a couple of seasons. We saw him be pretty good, looked like he was going to take the next step with the Minnesota Vikings. You can't fault the Vikings from moving on from Teddy Bridgewater because you just don't know with that knee what he's going to do, what he's going to be coming back. But we've seen him win games for both of those franchises, the Saints and the Vikings. So you got him in the NFC South now, and you got Matt Ryan, who I think people still believe is a top-tier quarterback, all in that one division. Now, what does it mean for the other dominoes now? What does it mean for Cam, Jacoby, Jameis, and others? Dare I say Mitch Trubisky? What does it mean for quarterbacks who people within their organization have begun to lose faith in a bit? It's not real good for them.
I think the decision on Cam will trigger that other domino effect with the other quarterbacks, because I think Cam can still be a QB1 in the league. It's just a matter of how badly does Carolina wants to get rid of him, because like we've seen with the Texans that they were trying I guess by the offer that they got, they were trying their hardest to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that deal. Whatever.
And so
they're stupid. They're stupid.
And so it depends. It depends on like how badly do the Panthers want to get rid of Cam. If they want to sit and wait on Cam and wait it out just to see who's going to
out. Why would they wait it out?
Who's offering
who's
the
gonna
best?
Offer
who's going to offer the best package? Then sure. But it's like if you're like on a tight money crunch, or you're just trying to get what you can with them, like you're just taking the best, the next closest offer that you feel like is good, then they're just gonna roll with that.
We'll talk more about what the Panthers have to do because you bring up a good point. People know now that you need to move on from Cam Newton. Is the market going to be the same for him? And it looks like the body has given out on Cam also. We're going to talk more about Cam, Jameis, Jacoby Brissett, the Lions, and what they're doing in their quarterback room and what that means from an NFL draft standpoint. All of that and more next right here on Sports 56 Mornings on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Okay, I know when you told me you were pregnant, I didn't have the best reaction.
What you said was, I have a designated driver to Sweetgrass for months.
And like I said, it wasn't the best reaction.
You think?
But we do come to Sweetgrass a lot, and it's so much more than a bar. It has such great food.
So I'm going to be eating a lot?
Well, that's not what I meant. I just meant with the great menu, you'll be able to find something to love even if you're not feeling great.
Not feeling great? I'm pregnant, not sick.
And there are plenty of non-alcoholic drinks.
Since I'm the designated driver to Sweetgrass.
Well, this is going to be a long...
I wouldn't finish that sentence if I were you.
It's not too early to start planning for spring at Family Leisure. New pools are starting at $19.99, spas starting at $21.99, and swim spas now only $99.99. 5-piece patio furniture starts at only $799. Pool chemicals, toys, accessories, and more up to 20% off. Mention this ad, you'll get free delivery and 1 month of chemicals with your spa purchase. Start your spring planning now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. Indeed will also give you this sticky frog, which will suddenly leap and stick to the face of the perfect hire. Okay, there's no sticky frog. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
I wish we could stay here forever. We deliver olives, Greek sandals, and everything you need to relive that perfect trip to the Mediterranean. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Memories. What we deliver by delivering.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back in. Sports 56 Morning on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. We talked some in the last bit of the first hour about quarterbacks landing spots. Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina, if you missed it. Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis, in case you missed that. And then the big one, Tom Brady, now in Tampa Bay. We talked some about what that does for those teams and those teams' futures, but a lot of other teams now have some interesting things and some interesting issues with their quarterback rooms. Let's start with the Lions, because that's the quickest one. The Lions going out there and Chase Daniels, not one of the top names in this quarterback free agency class, but the Lions went out there and shored up their backup position, making it clear that, any semblance of a thought that we might be interested in Tua Tagovailoa or one of these other quarterbacks in this year's draft with that number 3 overall pick, that is now gone. And so from a leverage standpoint, I think that hurts some. I think you could have leveraged that number 3 overall pick for the house, for somebody's everything. Just think about what we've seen here recently from what teams have been willing to give up to move up in the draft and get their quarterback. So if you got that number 3 overall pick, you want it, and you want to make it clear, or at least lie to people, because it is line season, like, hey, you know what? We're real interested in Tua. And see if you can't get somebody to move up in the draft and give you something for him and for that pick. Because I guarantee you there's a sucker out there that'll give you a couple of firsts, maybe 3 or 4 first-round picks to move up in the draft and get Tua Tagovailoa.
I mean, that still might be in the cards, though. I mean, just it depends.
From a leverage standpoint?
From a leverage standpoint, it's still, like, it could be in the cards. Because the Dolphins, we still don't know if they're gonna have a quarter. They're gonna we know they're gonna draft one, but
what's their pick? They're 5.
They're 5.
They're 5. Yeah. See, that's the team you want. That's the sucker right there. You want to say, hey, we got this spot here. We're looking at drafting Tua, and we're gonna sit Tua for some behind a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. Let Tua learn the game. Let Tua's body heal all the way to beyond 100%, and then we're gonna stick him in there and play him.
But then
what are you gonna give me?
But then you have 2 injured quarterbacks. Cause Stafford,
you don't take them.
Right, you don't. But
you don't take them. You bluff them, and it's a legit bluff. It is. People, especially for a team like the Dolphins, who desperately want Tua, who are salivating at the mouth to get Tua, they'd be willing to move up. And think about what other teams have given up to move up 2 spots in the draft and get one of these quarterbacks. You can get quite the haul. And the Lions now have made it clear, like, listen, we're not really about that Tua life. We can't really use that as leverage. I wonder now what that does from a enticement standpoint, from what they could possibly get, what they are going to get, and what they could have possibly gotten with that number 3 overall pick by signing a backup quarterback like Chase Daniels.
So I'm looking at the draft order here just to kind of give an idea of who needs a quarterback. Jacksonville, they feel like their quarterback of the future is Gardner Minshew, the third.
I don't know if they feel that way. I wouldn't be sold on that.
Well, they want him to start this upcoming year. So,
and see, that's the thing. I don't think that way about Jacksonville. I would think Jacksonville would say, maybe at the end of the season, Jacksonville was like, yeah, cool, Garner's our guy. But now if you're Jacksonville, you kind of perk up a bit. Denver, you kind of perk up a bit. Chicago, like, oh, okay, we don't have to run out there with this particular guy. We don't. Cam Newton is available. Jacoby Brissett is available. Phillip Rivers just went to the Colts. Another one of those teams who you would think would say, hey, you know what, we're set come season's end. But then as things begin to happen and things begin to change around them, it might be, hey, you know what? We don't have to run out there with Chase Daniels. We don't have to run out there with Gardner Minshew. Cam Newton is available. Do we think Cam can be close to Cam of old? Let's see. Let's just see what it looks like. Let's think about that some. And this is why I think Marcus Mariota is deciding to ink that deal with the Raiders, or agree in terms with the Raiders, as we are still about 7 hours away from NFL free agency officially kicking off. Why I think that he may have messed himself up a bit as far as getting another starting job. Because as the dominoes begin to fall, other people are going to look around and realize, hey, we might be able to get upgrade our quarterback some. Is Marcus Mariota going to be an upgrade from Gardner Minshew?
But
no, probably not. I wouldn't think so.
But do you
is he an upgrade over the quarterback up in New England right now? Is he an upgrade over Stidham?
Yes.
Well, and see, that's why you kind of wait for that big one to fall, because now New England is out there in this looking for a quarterback.
But do you feel like the book is out on Mariota? Because considering the fact that, like, when healthy, Mariota is a pretty he's a pretty average quarterback, but he gets the job done with his legs and he can throw it a little bit with his arm. But do you feel like the book is out on him?
What do you mean the book is out?
Like, the teams know they know the ceiling of his potential.
Oh yeah. We know what we're getting when we get Marcus Mariota. Right. What we're getting, just using that New England team as a point of reference. We know what we're getting when we get him. Is that better than the quarterback situation we have right now? And for some of these teams, it is an emphatic yes. Yes, it is. It is most certainly better. Who's over there taking under center for the Broncos? I can't remember.
Drew Lock.
Is Mariota better than Drew Lock?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think so. I think I'd feel real comfortable saying yes. He is better than Lock.
I gotta give Lock another year because he was platooning with Flacco last season, and so I need to see a full year of Drew Lock for me to say, okay, whether he may have it or he don't have it, or or by circumstances of the teams barring injury.
If you're not beating out Joe Flacco outright, if you're platooning with Joe Flacco, I feel comfortable bringing Mariota in because I think Mariota can get that job. Marcus Mariota is one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel that way. And so if he had have held out, not held out, but if he had held off a little bit and waited until some other things started to happen, I think he would have found himself another starting job. Now, I'm interested in Marcus Mariota as a starter. Marcus might not be interested in that. Marcus might be interested in going a different route, I'm thinking about what Teddy Bridgewater was able to do. Flynn with the Packers, what he was able to do, how he was able to parlay that backup quarterback spot into a lot of money later on down the line. So he might be interested in doing something like that, where he is a Teddy Bridgewater and he comes in because Carr gets injured. And he shows teams what he can do in 4 or 5 games, and then next season, or when his contract is up, he gets out there and finds a more permanent place, finds another starting gig. I think he might be thinking that way also, maybe possibly, but it no doubt in my mind, from a start, if he wanted to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, he should have absolutely waited until some of these other dominoes began to fall. Because if Phillip Rivers leaves, which he did, Indianapolis, Tom Brady leaves, which he did down in Tampa Bay, those are 2 teams right there. Those are 2 teams right there looking for quarterbacks. Two teams ready to go right now who are looking for quarterbacks when you think about what the L.A. Chargers, did I call them San Diego earlier? L.A.
Yeah.
The L.A. Chargers and, I don't know why, and the New England Patriots, the way they're built, and with the coaching up in New England and the sheer amount of talented skill players down in L.A., those are 2 places where you can go, and if you are an okay to average quarterback, you might be able to have yourself some success. I think that we're going to see, I would imagine, because Jacoby was there in New England in that quarterback room with him, Tom Brady, and Jimmy G. I would imagine now that Jacoby immediately jumps to the forefront of everybody in New England's mind and saying, hey, we can go out there and get Jacoby, bring him in. He's familiar with what we like to do. He's a good quarterback, and we can get get the most out of him, and we can get some wins with him as the starting quarterback. Also, Cam Newton, I would imagine, would be on the front of or at the front of a team like the Chargers' mind. Somebody who has a bunch of big physical players. One of the issues with Cam is accuracy. And where does Cam Newton like to miss? Cam misses high. So if you give Cam Newton a big target who can go up there and get the ball, that is perfect. That is perfect. That's what the Panthers tried to do with Cam. That is why they ended up drafting players like a Devin Funchess and others and trying to bring in these really tall, really big receivers. Because Cam isn't accurate. Cam misses high, has absolute cannon for an arm, but he's going to miss high. If you have big physical receivers like Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, who can go up and high point the ball and go get it, I think that fits Hunter Henry, another one. Hunter Henry, the tight end, who the Chargers just shored up. That's another one. I think Cam would be a pretty good fit out in San Diego.
I wouldn't. I agree. I still wouldn't rule out the Chargers. You said San Diego again. I still wouldn't rule out.
God! Why? L.A.
I still wouldn't rule out the Chargers drafting a quarterback either.
Where are they in the draft?
They're number 6. They're behind. Okay. They're behind the Dolphins.
Okay.
And so looking kind of like looking at the projections, the Chargers may not miss out on Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Depending on if the top 10 gets some type of movement anytime soon. So I think the Chargers the Chargers will take a quarterback in the draft. I think, like you said, Cam, I feel like Cam fits really well with the playmakers that the Chargers have right now, as far as like we talked about yesterday with Brady and who to go to. Either was the Chargers or the Bucs, because they have playmakers already set, ready to go. And besides the Bucs, the Chargers made the playoffs with those skill position guys.
Yeah, and so you've got a team in the Chargers who, with those players, got to the playoffs. Phillip Rivers was at the helm there, but the only thing you're changing now is the type of quarterback. I'm not sure if the quality of quarterback changes much with Phillip Rivers leaving. I'd be real interested to see what the Chargers would be willing to give up to get Cam, if they're even interested in going after a player like Cam Newton. Let's face it, Cam has sacrificed his body for the Carolina Panthers. He does not look to be the Cam Newton of old. He does not. He's had both seasons the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Check on that for me, Zach. The past 2 seasons, I think Cam has had his season shortened. And last year, it couldn't even really get off the ground because of the way his body was hurting and the limits that were placed on his body because of the physicality that he plays with. So even if Cam Newton is available, and Cam is, I wonder what a team like the Chargers, who are definitely set up to win now, what that would look like for them. They could absolutely go out there, and this is where the Detroit Lions kind of messed themselves up a bit. Make people believe you're going to take Tua. Make them believe that. And you have teams possibly like the Chargers, who's one behind Miami. You can play those two teams against one another and be like, hey, listen, if we don't take them, the Chargers are going to move up Miami and get this pick. That this is what they're willing to do, and what are you going to give us to overcompensate? And this is how you get people fleeced out of their futures, and how you end up getting a whole lot of picks, a whole lot of quality picks for future drafts to come.
Yeah, Cam only played 2 games last season.
The year before that, how many years
before? He played 14.
He played 14.
For the most part, I mean, like Cam has been there. Like he may play well, he might not play well, but for the most part, he has been on the field. Like
he does not look the same.
He don't.
And that there's a difference in Cam Newton from 3 or 4 years ago and the Cam Newton now. And if physically his body has failed him and given out on him and is not going to allow him to play the way that he was accustomed to playing 3-4 years ago, then is he worth it? Is he worth bringing in to be your starting quarterback on a team like LA, like a team like Chicago, where there are pieces there right now, especially from a skill position standpoint, that lead you to believe that with the right person at the helm, at the quarterback position, offensively, they can do some things pretty special. And if you look with both of those teams, the Bears included, you look on the other side of the football defensively, if they get any help, if the Chargers get a little bit more help from that offense, if the Bears get a little bit more help from their offense, you're talking about two teams that I would envision think of themselves as playoff caliber teams. I would. And so is Cam Newton as a player like that worth it? I don't know. You could always draft a quarterback if you're, let's say, the Chargers. You could always sign a quarterback in free agency and then draft one to sit behind the quarterback while you're in win-now mode. We've seen, most notably for me, Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, where the current quarterback was definitely out there because he was better to help them win right now. But the other quarterback, the backup, was very clearly the future. Does that lead to some awkward interactions betwixt the two? Yep, most certainly does. But as an organization, that's fine. You can definitely do that. I don't think anybody would be clamoring for the rookie to come in because they feel like the rookie would get them over the hump that season and get them to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith, another group where Alex Smith was the starter at the start of the season, if I'm not mistaken. And then at the end of the season, it's okay, Patrick's ready. We're going to roll with him. Jimmy G and Tom Brady, another example. Had the Patriots not traded Jimmy G away, they'd be set at that quarterback position. They'd have somebody coming in who they would feel confident in and wouldn't be upset to see him lead the team on the offensive side of the ball. Instead, they traded him. They traded Jacoby. They got Stidham now. Stidham, again, last time we saw him was that blowout win that the Patriots have against the Jets, where they were going to shut the Jets out before Stidham threw a terrible pick six and ended up on the bench for the final minute of the game. Bill Belichick said, nope, can't play this dude. Go sit down. Tom, go in for the final minute, man. Go in. So I don't think the Patriots are super confident in Stidham, and I would imagine they would be out here real interested in some of these quarterbacks that are going to be available from not only from a free agency standpoint, but from a trade standpoint. Nick Foles down in Jacksonville, you brought them up at the start of this conversation. It looks like Jacksonville is going to roll with Gardner as the guy. It looks like, or at the very least, there's going to be an open competition between the two. At the very least, if you're New England, do you sniff around Jacksonville and just say, hey, how interested are you guys in giving up Nick Foles? Yeah. What can we do?
It's much like with Cam with the Jaguars. How badly do you want to get rid of Nick Foles?
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw like a couple of seasons ago when Brock Osweiler got traded. What was it? He got traded from the Texans to the Browns?
To the Broncos.
Was
Did
it?
he get traded to the... No.
Yeah.
Was it to the Broncos?
No. It was to the Browns because they gave up, because the Texans gave up a second round pick just to get off his contract that year. And so I think, and I want to say that was the year that they went up and got Deshaun Watson, I want to say. But much like Cam with the Panthers, how badly does Jacksonville wants to get off Nick Foles? And also, I would throw in, a big name everybody's been throwing out there is Andy Dalton, because the Bengals.
That's another one.
The Bengals, they know who they're gonna take in at number one. It's Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So why have Andy Dalton there? Just I wouldn't say he's bitter, but
you want to say who's better?
Bitter.
A bitter Dalton.
Yeah, I don't want to say he's bitter, but it's just changing of the leaf, new fresh face. New sheriff in town, I guess. So, would you sniff around the Bengals? I mean,
again, these are all Andy. We're talking like Andy Dalton and Nick Foles here. Nick Foles, I'll put some respect on his name. Pretty sure he's got a Super Bowl MVP.
He does.
Okay, so he's got that. But outside of that, he's one of those average to good quarterbacks. Andy Dalton, average to really below average quarterback. But those are the types of quarterbacks where we're talking about being available to teams. I think Marcus Mariota stacks up nicely, holds his own well from a talent standpoint with most of these guys left. And somebody is going to get a starting job in San Diego and in New England. And I think Marcus Mariota, had he held out and just waited, not held out, but just waited a little bit longer until he signed his deal to see what everybody's going through, what this landscape is going to look like, I think he could have found a way to be a starting quarterback.
I would love to see Jameis Winston in a Patriots uniform.
Ooh, that would be something.
Just to get his immaturity with Bill Belichick's nonsense and just watch them clash along the sidelines.
Yeah, that would be something.
I would love to see that. But knowing Belichick, because he runs the whole operations there for the most part, yeah, that's not going to happen.
We've got more to come. We're going to talk some about athletes and celebrities doing awesome things, doing their part to help out during this global pandemic and more right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 96.1 and 87.7.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The best place to go for all things guns and gear is what you hear me talking about all the time. Tactical Guns and Gear has the only one-stop sound suppressor silencer shop in one place on Highway 72 in Collierville. Fingerprints, photo, trust, and notary all in one place. Only place in Tennessee that you can do that. Protecting your kids' ears and your ears and getting less recoil is huge. If you've not been to Tactical Guns and Gear, I promise they have all the latest and best guns and rifles before other shops even have them ordered. And how great is it that you can ask Jim or Jake to add all the gear you want to any gun or rifle, and they'll do the custom package for you. Gun, scope, sight, sling, case, balancer, and ammo, all done. A perfectly balanced rifle is everything, and the right scope is good too. All eyes are different. You may want red or green or night vision. Make sure Jim or Jake knows. For all things guns and gear, head to Tactical Guns and Gear on Highway 72 in Collierville and tell them Eli says hi. Online at tacticalgunsandgear.net.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles, when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
To yours, Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here's a message for all you station surfers out there, you changers of the channel. I get it. Life's too short to hang around waiting for something better. So why haven't you made the move to Southland? Maybe you don't like playing longer on the largest slot floor in the region, or maybe you just enjoy the longer drive. But if you think getting there is half the fun, you're probably not having that much fun. Southland Casino Racing. Surprise yourself. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 1-800-522-4700.
So this time of the year, Humdingers is the place to go for Lent. We offer salmon, tilapia, swahi, rainbow trout, mahi, crab cakes, ahi tuna, anything you need, including our shrimp and grits. You can get any of those with our fish toppings, and you can also get them blackened with pineapple salsa, piri-piri mushroom, black bean corn salsa. Humdinger. We are doing catering for weddings, any social events, any corporate events. You can dial our hotline at 901-260-8292.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back. Fit and Song, Disco Wednesday. Yeah. Staying alive, I think that's what we're all trying to do in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic. We all got to do our part. And for Coach O, that is making a whole bunch of commercials, PSAs, and hopping on various television shows to discuss what you can be doing to take care of yourself and avoid the pandemic.
By the way, like it's a serious situation with the pandemic, but having Coach O like as the face of the infomercial about all of this is like it's hilarious just watching him like try to utter out coronavirus. Pandemic.
I don't understand any of the words he says other than "Go Tigers." That is it. I have no clue what my man is saying. All I hear is "rah, rah, 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 go Tigers." That's it. I have no clue what else Coach O is saying. Coach O last night taking back to your television screens, trying to get you guys to understand the seriousness of the coronavirus and what you can do to help not spread the disease.
This too shall pass. We got to deal with it and watch the reruns on TV and enjoy them, especially us beating Clemson.
You had to rub that in there. Coach, very good seeing you. Thank you, and thank you for being an inspiration to everyone but Clemson. Thank you, sir. Isn't he great? All right,
thank you guys. Go Tigers.
Yeah,
that's it right there. I was
right,
waiting on the Go Tigers, man. I knew it was coming.
Thank you, Go Tigers.
All I heard was, especially after we Clemson. Go Tigers. Like, what? Coach O pleading with you guys, imploring you, stay at home. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet apart if you do have to go out.
Did you did you get a chance to watch the infomercial that he gives?
I did see not the drive-in. I did see the infomercial.
Oh,
I did. It's good. It is also good.
Especially as we learn the playbook. That's true.
You had to rub that in there.
It's also true as we take on the coronavirus. The spread of the coronavirus is a serious matter, but there's a game plan for keeping residents as safe as possible.
Keeping who?
Everyone has a role to play as we face this challenge together. Cover your cough with your elbow like this. Wash your hands thoroughly. A full 20 seconds. If you're sick, stay home. If you think you should be tested, phone your health provider first. Avoid close contact with anyone who's sick. Protect your at-risk family members, including the elderly. If you're not at risk, take care as you go about your daily business. Get the facts now from coronavirus.gov and your state health department. We're all in this together. Let's team up to protect our health.
his voice is so gravelly. It sounds like it's going to go out any given moment.
We're all in this together.
What, Coach O? I don't know how they understand when he gets excited. Because everybody, when we get excited, our words begin to run together. We talk a little faster. We talk with more energy and excitement. That is Coach O reading from a teleprompter, and it's supposed to be serious, and it is serious. Did a good job conveying the solemn nature of this pandemic. But it still sounds like he's about to get excited. Like it sounds like he's going to try and get you to get out there at that middle linebacker spot and just fill that hole. Hit the first thing that comes through. Is it the coronavirus? Fine. Hit it. As soon as it comes through the hole, just hit it. Doesn't matter. His voice is so gravelly, it sounds like it's going to go out any moment. And I know he can't be yelling at anybody. The season hadn't even started yet. Man, but hey, that's what it takes sometimes. People like Coach O to step up and do their part. Use their celebrity to try and help everybody understand the severity and the severe nature of it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I forgot about this. Arnold had a video out where for some reason, Arnold, former governor of California, Arnold is kicking it with some little donkeys, some miniature horses. Am I right? Yeah, those miniature horses.
Yeah, they're I think they're donkeys.
Let's hear from Arnold.
Come on. See, the important thing is that you stay at home because there's a curfew now. Okay, no one is allowed out, especially someone that is like 72 years old. After you're 65, you're not allowed at the house anymore in California. So we stay home and we eat here, right? Oh yeah, that's yummy. I eat with the whiskey, and there's Lulu. Lulu loves carrots. Whiskey loves carrots. I just had my little bit of vegan food. Oh, that was yummy, huh? Oh.
What?
See, that's what we do. We don't go out. We don't go to restaurants. We don't do anything like that anymore here. We just eat with whiskey and with Lulu. We have a good time. We get entertained. Look at that beautiful smile she has, huh? Oh yes. Oh yes.
What?
Yummies, huh? And we have a good time eating here together. So much more.
Oh my gosh. So for those of you who are confused, as well you should be, Whiskey is the miniature horse. Whiskey is a miniature horse. And Arnold is sitting there. It's two miniature horses running around in Arnold's kitchen.
Whiskey and Lulu.
And he's running around sitting down, not running around, sitting down, feeding them carrots.
Yes.
And just sitting there and talking. And it's just so weird.
I feel bad for one of them.
Which one? Is it Whiskey or Lulu?
It's I think it's Lulu.
Okay.
Because he gave Whiskey the carrot.
Yeah.
And he over there chomping on it, and Lulu just like trying to all right, my turn. Like give
Does
me
he
the
not
carrot.
give Lulu a carrot?
Eventually he did,
Okay.
but at first it was like wait a minute, I'm talking, but she was like okay, give me the carrot, and
Okay. All right. So Coach O is making PSAs and talking with various television stations about what to do and how best to avoid spreading the pandemic. Arnold's got his miniature horses. I'm surprised one of them isn't named Sebastian. He's got his miniature horses. Oh, yes. Yes. Pawnee's own.
It's been a minute since I heard this song.
I listen to it once a week.
Little Sebastian.
Oh. So Arnold's got miniature horses. I'm surprised one of them's not named Little Sebastian. He's feeding them carrots and begging people, listen, I did not know Arnold was 72. But in that, you heard him say, hey, listen, if you're 72, it's like, oh, he's 72.
Right.
Stay at home. Don't go out. Bye, Little Sebastian. Yes. Miss you, Little Sebastian. We do. Don't go out. Over 65, stay at home. And this is what we do. We feed Whiskey. Well, he said we eat with Whiskey and Lulu. And Whiskey is the name of one of the other miniature horses.
Yes.
Not just eating whiskey. Which would be kind of funny to see Arnold, like, drunk off of whiskey. No, be kind of
With
funny.
whiskey?
No, drunk. Well, drunk off whiskey with whiskey.
Right.
Both. I bet that would be fun to see. Sierra and her husband are stepping up. For those of you who don't know, Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson, those two are combining. They're going to donate 1 million meals to help coronavirus victims of the spread in the pandemic. And they live, Sierra and her husband, they both live in Seattle because the husband works there. He signed a pretty good deal with the Seahawks last year with 3 chains on, letting everybody know. But so they work in Seattle. They live in Seattle. So they pledge to help out everybody up there. And we know Washington is one of the areas that has been hit the hardest. They announced that they're going to be donating 1 million meals to people affected by the coronavirus. And that's one way that they can do their part. And they have a little bit more than everybody. And they're going to give back to the community. Patrick Mahomes, another one of those celebrities slash athletes who's going to be helping out. He's pledged 15,000 meals to Harvesters Community Food Network, and he's got his charity to commit $100,000 to organizations affected by the outbreak. And this just goes to show everybody's trying to step up. Everybody's trying to do their part to spread awareness, not the disease, and to try and help those out who've been impacted and affected by the disease. We've seen countless NBA players, too many to rattle off by name, step up and say, we're going to donate some of our money to help keep the hourly employees at the stadiums and arenas, help give them some sort of relief as we are dealing with this suspended season and the suspension of not only our season and our games. Not only does that affect us as athletes, but it also affects the workers, that it affects them. So our season might be suspended, but their paychecks, their livelihoods are being suspended also. So hats off to all the players who are doing that. I wish more owners would step up and do the same, although I'm pretty sure everybody is on board with making sure that their arena workers are getting relief. But I think that now is one of those times where everybody needs a bit of financial relief. You can't ask. It's not fair. And it's going to be harmful to you and your business if you ask people, if people are being asked to self-quarantine, and they are doing that, but you aren't giving relief to the workers who are staying at home so as they don't act as vessels or carriers for the coronavirus to really slow down the spread. If those people, if we aren't getting taken care of, this is all going to be for naught. Because even if this thing only lasts for, by this thing I mean the quarantine only lasts for a couple of months, by the time it ends, you're going to have people homeless. You're going to have people who have been without power, or you're going to have people who are going to need to spend all of their checks for the rest of the year catching up on past due bills. So it's one thing for the city of Atlanta to say, hey, you know what? We're not evicting anybody until the quarantine gets lifted. It's one thing for the city of Atlanta to say that. But when the quarantine gets lifted, how do you go about getting rent from these people? Because that affects the apartment complexes, that affects the homeowners, that affects them also. That's a stream of income for so many of them too. So how do you help those people out and give those people relief on top of giving relief to your casual, everyday, blue-collar worker? And what type of relief are you giving? Are you forgiving the rent for this time period? Because if you aren't, Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, man. If you're saying, hey, don't worry about rent for March and April, pick back up in May, and then May rolls around and everything's good to go. And it is, okay, remember how we told you not to worry about that rent in April and March? Now it's time for you to come up out of it. Set up some form of payment plan, set up some form of payment so that we can get that money from you. That still hurts because I still don't have the money from March or April because I couldn't go to work. So you're asking me to pay rent for 2 months where I was unemployed, and I'm not getting unemployment. I wasn't unemployed because I was laid off or fired. I was unemployed because of a national pandemic. So how are we going to help those people out also, on top of everything else that we've got going on? It is great to see celebrities and athletes lend their voices, lend their wallets to some of these causes, but that is not going to be enough once it gets bad, and it's looking like it's going to get worse before it gets better. So we are going to need more than just a couple of athletes, a couple of celebrities donating meals to those affected. We've all been affected. And because we are such a social society where everything kind of depends on everybody else, where we're all connected, you got to help us all out. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. We're still going to come out of this quarantine. We're going to come out of this and still be hurting financially. And then you have to look up and you'll wonder why not as many people are at live sporting events. And it'll be hell. It's August, sure. It's September, sure. I would love to be at some of these live sporting events. I would love to be out there socializing and running about with my friends and my peers. But I simply can't afford it because I've got to make up bills from 2 months where I was not employed. That is real. That is something that everybody should stop and think about. So yes, while we are fighting the spread of the Rona, and we are trying to do our best to flatten out the curve and not have that huge spike in symptoms that require hospitalization. While we are doing that, we've also got to be thinking about ways to give relief to everybody, not just those at the tippity top, but to everybody. All right. Like I said, it is wonderful to see Kevin Love go out there and donate $100,000 to people affected by the suspension of the NBA season. But you know what else is affected? You know who else is affected by the suspension of the NBA season? Those small businesses, those restaurants, those bars that are around the arena, those places that rely on NBA games, NHL games to bring in foot traffic to their venues and their establishments. Not only is the USL affected by the coronavirus, forcing them to suspend their season, but where the Mafia, Bluff City Mafia, where they hang out at, the bars where they frequent, that hurts also. Not only are the people, the event staff at FedEx Forum affected by the NBA suspension of the season, but you know what else? All those restaurants and bars off Main Street, off historic South Main, off Beale Street, and in surrounding areas, all of them are affected also by there being a suspension in NBA games. All of them also need relief, not just the workers. It is easy to identify with, and I think we all do, and feel badly for the restaurant industry, because there are workers out there who are dependent on tips, who are dependent on people coming in on St. Patrick's Day and buying all of the green beer and leaving all types of tips. But those businesses, also the owners, the people who are going to eventually, if help doesn't come, they're going to have to lay folks off, or they're not going to be able to pay their small business loan, not going to be able to pay the rent on their particular location. They're running the risk of losing their business on top of everything else that goes with that. We've got to get something figured out to give everybody some relief in this time. We'll be back on the other side. We've got more to talk about. And don't forget, Rob Fisher is going to join us at 9. We're going to catch up with Rob, and Drew Hill's going to join us at 9:30. Don't you dare touch that dial. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 Middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
I was looking at Central Barbecue's website, eatcbq.com, and did you know you can order online before you even go to one of the 4 Central Barbecue locations?
Hey, you're here.
You can cut out all the waiting by ordering online.
Of course you can. We do it all the time.
You knew about the whole ordering Central Barbecue online thing and you didn't tell me?
Well, for one thing, assume since you're the spokesperson for Central Barbecue that you knew.
What do you mean for one thing?
I try not to initiate conversation with you if I can avoid it.
Fair enough. Wait, what?
Yes, all you have to do is go to eatcbq.com and place your order before you go to Central Barbecue.
Let's go back to that not initiating conversation thing.
Eatcbq.com. Order online before you go.
Now, a tournament flashback. A top seed and led by the player of the year, Duke had high hopes for the 2019 Big Dance.
Barrett goes to the baseline, dribbles between the legs, back to the wing to Zion. Zion returns it to Barrett, back to Zion, inside, goes up for a two-handed jam. Oh, is he fun to watch?
Zion Williamson and Duke survived 2 close games early before being eliminated in a 1-point Elite 8 loss to Michigan State.
An interesting creature inhabits the flat, arid plains of many an automobile dashboard, the bobblehead. It's most agreeable and will nod along to anything, despite having no brain function. But when the bobblehead hears how Geico not only saves people money, but also gives them access to licensed agents 24/7 online and over the phone, he'll nod even more vigorously because he knows you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. Easy, bobblehead, easy. You're going to get whiplash.
You don't have to wait for amazing deals on a new floor. Get spring Black Friday deals right now at Lumber Liquidators Flooring. This week, save up to 35% on gorgeous hardwood and waterproof vinyl floors. Plus, we can arrange for installation by professional independent contractors. And with special financing, you can get started today. These are the floors homes are built on. Lumber Liquidators Flooring.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back. Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. No Peter, just CJ. A lot has been going on over in the NFL. For those of you who may have missed it, Tom Brady is now with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Well, will be once free agency officially kicks in. They got a deal in place. Phillip Rivers is going to the Indianapolis Colts. So they've got a deal in place as well. What does that mean for teams like the Patriots and the Chargers? Chargers have a pretty good pick. But what does that mean for them? We have yet to see. Cam Newton is out there. He's available if somebody wants to trade for him. And the Dolphins made a big decision going out there getting Jordan Howard. That is a huge improvement over whoever the running backs were last year. Ryan Fitzpatrick led the team. Yes, Fitzmagic led the team in rushing yards, like 293 last year for the Dolphins. NFL free agency is still going on, even though you can't have free agents fly into the team facility. You can't go out and meet with these guys. Other NFL operations are not going on as scheduled. You know, new coaches are supposed to be able to get to the facility, I do believe April 6th. Second-year coaches and beyond get to the facility April 20th and start working on things and getting ready for the draft and the NFL season. But that's not going to happen this year. They're pushing that back. Still waiting to hear word on when they might think that'll be, but we really don't know because of the fluidity of this situation. This is unprecedented, and nobody really knows what to expect. Also, the NFL draft Supposed to go on, what's that, 22nd through the 25th?
23rd
through the 25th. Supposed to go on, and it's looking like it will still go on. Just won't have the pro days, and you won't have face-to-face interviews, and you won't have fans in attendance at the NFL draft. And really, I don't know if you have anybody in attendance at the NFL draft, wherever it is going to be. It's supposed to be in Vegas, but Vegas has shut down, man. Vegas has shut down. It's crazy. So that is where the NFL stands. Over in the NBA, the 4 Brooklyn Nets players, including Kevin Durant, all tested positive for the coronavirus, and they tested positive before having played against the Jazz. That is when the test was done. It was the night of the Celtics game, if I'm not mistaken, and in that time span, they played the Grizzlies. The Nets played the Grizzlies. So it was that stretch where Karis LeVert goes off for that big fourth quarter and overtime, and then they go out, the Nets do against the Grizzlies, and just don't have it. Just tired, exhausted, and the Grizzlies pounded them. It was that game right there, and 4 players at that time were infected with the coronavirus. So now this thing is continuing, and as time goes on, it will continue to hit closer to home for everybody, wherever your home is. Over in the NHL, a league that we have seen no cases from as far as the coronavirus is concerned. They had their first case. Ottawa Senators player got tested, ended up testing positive for the coronavirus. We had Teresa Walker from the Associated Press up in Nashville. We had her on yesterday. Man, she was talking about how panicked the Predators were and how concerned they were because they were in the locker room that Rudy Gobert was in up in Toronto immediately after the next day. The next day, they were in that same locker room. And so when they got back and they found out that Gobert had it, there was some uneasiness in that organization. The way it is spread and the fact that I feel fine doesn't mean I don't have it. You can be asymptomatic and be a carrier for it. The way that it is spread has everybody a little bit on edge. Not everybody, has some people on edge. And it's rightfully so. So that's why it's important. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. 6 feet. And stay at home as much as possible. 6 feet distance between you and the nearest person. Stay at home as much as possible.
Yeah, just on the same topic here, the Shelby County Health Department just confirmed the 4th case here in Shelby County. So,
all right.
But it's not related to the 1st, 2nd, or the 3rd cases that have already been announced.
Yeah. Get ready for more of those announcements, people. Rob Fisher's going to join us.
Yeah.
In the next hour. So is Drew Hill. So don't you guys dare touch that dial. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The future of the NFL shines under the bright lights of Las Vegas.
Welcome to the NFL Draft.
It's the 2020 NFL Draft live on NFL Network. College football's best set their sights on a lifelong dream, and we've got all 3 days covered. Find out where the next wave of NFL stars will land.
This is a very talented draft class. It's fun to watch.
The 2020 NFL Draft from Las Vegas starts April 23rd live on NFL Network.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you. Into the unknown.
Are you headed into the unknown with the digital marketing for your business? Maybe you could create the best digital content for your ad campaigns, but it's unknown whether you will find the time. Or maybe measuring the results and analytics is unknown for you. Digital Mid-South can help you with the unknowns of digital marketing. Website development, graphic design, social media marketing, search engine optimization, online video marketing, e-commerce, and more. Check out digitalmidsouth.com to learn how you can help with your online digital advertising campaigns, or call Brian White at 901-375-9324. That's Brian White, 901-375-9324. digitalmidsouth.com. Digital content creation, delivery, and management.
Here's a message for all the doubters out there. It turns out you're right. Southland isn't like the other casinos. Sure, Southland has craps tables that are 14 feet long and live blackjack tables with real dealers. But in other ways, they come up short, like that shorter drive and the shorter time to earn rewards. But you don't care about getting more for less, do you? Southland Casino Racing. Surprise yourself. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 1-800-522-4700.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media.
At Victory Auto Sales, that's victoryauto.org. We always ask our customers what they want most of the used car.
I want a car that runs when I turn the key. Don't want my appointment over there just waiting on me. Buddy. Throw away the cable. You'll never be late with one of our cars because they are just darn great. I want a car that runs down the road, that doesn't leave me stranded while it's getting dozed. I want brakes on my car so I can stop when I'm driving too fast and when I see a cop.
They want a car that starts. They want a car that runs. They want a car that stops. Victory Auto Sales, 901-380-5800. That's victoryauto.org. Check us out. We are at 4885 Elmore, just off Covington Pike. In-house financing, of course. Generous credit approval. Of course. Don't forget to ask about our layaway. That's victoryauto.org, 901-380-5800. Fill out the credit app online or come by or give us a call, 901-380-5800.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back on a very rainy, what's today? Wednesday? Very rainy Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Okay. I don't know why it feels like a Thursday to me.
No, I felt that yesterday. I was like, I was thinking to myself like, yeah, like today is Wednesday, but that was Monday. And I was like, wait, no, like, it's a long week.
It's a long week because it's just jammed packed with news. Not just sports news. Even though there are no live sports taking place, we are still getting news because of NFL free agency and some other things going on in the sports world. But really everything is centered around the coronavirus outbreak pandemic. And yesterday we got more news from the world of sports about the coronavirus as Kevin Durant and 3 other Nets players all tested positive for the coronavirus. Good news, 3 of them are feeling fine. One of them is symptomatic and is having a little bit of an issue with it. The Nets players were tested before, I do believe, the Celtics game, and in that span, they played the Celtics, the Jazz, and the Grizzlies. Joining us now from Fox Sports South there, Grizzlies coverage, Rob Fisher. Follow him on Twitter at the Fish Nation. Follow him on Instagram also. He's showing how he's staying occupied and staying busy in this time of quarantine at the Fish Nation _ on Instagram. Check him out on there. Rob, man, how's it going?
Good, man. Nothing, nothing brightens your day like rain. So it's but I will say this: you did brighten my day with the music coming into the segment. Ain't no stopping us now. My first job that I got when I was 19 years old, when I first started working in sports radio, my first outside job, I was a PA announcer for the St. Louis Ambush of the National Professional Soccer League, indoor soccer.
Okay.
And they had a big Steamers reunion night from the old Steamers team. And the Steamers, their intro music was "Ain't No Stopping Us Now."
Okay.
So yeah, that took me back. So that
Nice.
was nice. I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I follow you on various social media platforms. I see you going back to your roots a little bit, calling some I don't want to say less than packed events, but there's not a whole lot of people out there on the street as you make the give the call of your daughter riding around on her scooter. It is a scooter, isn't it? Isn't that's still what we call them? Okay, riding around on the scooter, hanging out, having fun.
Little scooter and just trying to keep up and do a little play-by-play while I'm away right now.
With the walk-off interview also.
With the walk-off, yeah, I have to keep my gotta keep practicing those walk-off interviews.
Yes.
So yesterday we did a little scooter. Today we were going to do a little soccer, but I don't know if that's going to happen now. So
hey, do the indoor soccer, Rob. You got experience?
That's a great point. CJ. Thank you for that, because we were thinking maybe gymnastics or something.
Okay.
If not, but maybe indoor soccer, being an indoor. Maybe I'll wear my championship ring and everything.
Okay, so what's going on, man? How are you dealing with the recent news about the Nets and those players?
I guess nothing surprises me at this point. I mean, I think we're going to keep hearing stories like this, and I wonder if every team were to be tested, how many guys there would be around the league. We keep looking at this as if Rudy Gobert is agent zero,
right.
But his teammate Donovan Mitchell had it. So who's to say Donovan Mitchell wasn't, or who's to say there aren't players around the league who have it? Now that the Nets all got tested, and I would imagine the Lakers, the team that they played prior to that, they're all going to be tested. And if they are, maybe there'll be a player or two that would have it. So it's not stunning me. I mean, because everything you hear is, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the more cases that we find out, the more that we learn. It continues to be scary, and it continues to just rock our world. I mean, everything's just upside down. It was a week ago today that I talked to you guys and, wondered what was going to happen on the 3-game road trip. And, our biggest concern was, were we going to play the 3 games in front of fans? And, it was a fluid situation and didn't know exactly what was going to happen next. And that night in Portland, getting ready for the game the next day, and we went out to go watch the Pelicans-Kings game, and then all hell broke loose. From the Thunder game to then the Pelicans game, and then the NBA suspending their season, and and then the tweet comes out that we were on the plane that the Jazz used, and so we're sitting there wondering, oh my God, are we okay, or are we going to be able to get out of Portland? And then everything was deemed clear to travel, and we left the next day and came home, and all of a sudden everything's just different. You know, I always tell people when the end of the season comes, it feels like you break up with a girlfriend because it's, you know, you're with this family, this basketball family for 7 months, and you're around them more than you are your actual family. And when the season ends, it always feels like a breakup because your daily routine and everything just kind of changes. Well, this one didn't feel much like a breakup. It felt more like you got dumped. You know, and it was just over out of nowhere. You didn't expect it, didn't see it coming, and then all of a sudden it's all right. You get off the plane and say goodbye to everybody, and don't know when you're going to see them again because you don't know when the season, if the season's even going to resume, or if there will be playoffs, or you know what's going to happen. And you know, as I said last week, I think the tough thing through this is not having any answers, because the people who are making the decisions, people above you, they don't have the answers because they don't know. They don't know what's right. They don't know what the proper. There's no book that tells you how to handle this situation.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure things out as they go along as well, and you know, just kind of follow the news every day and see what might happen next. And you know, it's obviously very strange, and try and do your best to just stay isolated and not go out and not be around people. And it's you know, after 3 days, it was miserable already. Just trying to think this could go on for a few months. I mean, it's hard to tackle. It's really hard to tackle.
You bring up the quarantining, and we should all be doing our best to socially distance ourselves from one another, as painful as that is. But it is hard to do that when you don't have enough toilet paper. What's your toilet paper situation like, Rob?
Toilet paper's good.
Okay.
Actually, before this pandemic, we are Costco members.
Okay.
So we had a large. We're good. We're good on the toilet paper for a while.
Good.
So, yeah, we're good there. We're good on paper towels for a while.
Okay.
And you know, the Costco essentials, we got them. So we're good there, at least for a while. I mean, I don't know how long a 24-pack lasts, but I think it should last a while. I've never kept track of how long I've been able to use the 24-pack, but I guess we'll find out.
We, my wife and I went to the grocery store last week. So I think it was Wednesday when everything broke. So Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, everything breaks. Wednesday, we go into the store and already just nothing. Just go into a Target and you look, and you know how long a toilet paper aisle is in Target and how many different brands of toilet paper they have. Not only was there no toilet paper, they had taken the little toilet paper stickers off. So if you didn't know, you wouldn't know what the hell that aisle was used for. It was like, no, this is definitely the toilet paper aisle. Why are we taking all the toilet paper? I'm glad that you found yourself some toilet paper. I ended up going to a Dollar General and grabbing some myself, but just stocking up on supplies, man. It is odd to think about, because usually when we stock up, it's because there's going to be 1.5, 2 inches of snow. That's when we all go out and stock up, and we know that this is going to end. This is absolutely going to end. If it snows today on Wednesday, by Friday, Saturday, it'll be back up to 50, 55, and that snow will melt, and we'll be good to go. But with this, I mean, you don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah, for snow, I mean, you laugh at people who stock up on things like that, because you're like, seriously? You're only going to be inside for a day or two.
Day and a half max.
This one, you're like, seriously? But then you think, well, maybe they're the smart ones. I don't know. Maybe we do need to stock up on our toilet paper. I mean, what happens if you run out? What do you do?
I mean, we all got that mail pile. At least in my house, I have the mail pile. Mail that I've looked at hadn't opened, just looked at the top of it, and it's like, oh, I'm definitely not opening this. We all got that pile, Rob. You know what I'm talking about. You know that pile of coupons that they send every week and a half, 2 weeks? The coupons to all these stores and places you don't go to, we have that.
That's right.
We can make that work.
The Val pack.
Yes.
That you get in the mail. Yeah.
We can do that.
Do people still have phone books?
No, I don't think so. Zach, you got a phone book?
No.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think we
I don't
still
remember
make
the
those.
last time
I
I got a phone book.
I can't remember the last time I saw a phone book.
It's been a minute. For sure.
Yeah, it has.
Well, somebody's got them. Somebody's granny got them. Ask her to cut it in half for you, and you take half of it with you home, just in case. there are other ways to make this work.
There's no need for me to have one.
I understand, but
good.
if you run out of toilet paper, you might need it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We don't.
Yeah.
We've evolved past the phone book because we got the Google on our phone, and we can look up people's addresses and look up the phone numbers to the businesses on the Google. But in times like this, times of toilet paper shortages, a phone book. You're right, Rob. Yellow pages or white pages would absolutely come in handy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is eerie going to the supermarket. I mean, I went yesterday and I was there early in the morning, and I've never seen the Kroger I went to yesterday. I've never seen it that crowded, and it was 9:30 in the morning, and just to walk through and see nothing on the shelves it's weird.
Did they let everybody come through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And at this point, I mean, you think again. The scary thing is, how long is this going to go on? You know, and if the grocery stores look like this today, what's it going to look like in 4 weeks?
Right.
You know, and what will they get to a point where only so many people can be in the grocery store? Will it get to a point where it's one in, one out? I mean, you don't know. You don't know what the future is holding here day to day.
My dad is in Atlanta. I got family all over the nation right now. My dad is in Atlanta, and that is how their stores are set up. They're letting one of the grocery stores he went to, there was a line that had little markers set up to let you know, hey, don't walk all the way up on somebody. This is 6 feet. This is where you stand. And they were letting them in 10 at a time. And so my dad gets to the front of the line, and one of the ladies in front of him looks at him and says, hey, do you know what you want? Because I really don't know what I'm doing in the grocery store. I like to walk around and take my time and just look at everything before I grab it. So if you know what you want, definitely go ahead of me. I've got to pull this grocery store up on my phone and see what items I actually want to have from the grocery store. So down in Atlanta, they are absolutely limiting how many people are going in and out of these stores.
Wow. Yeah, cream of mushroom soup's available. You can get that. I know that's available.
I can do some things with cream of mushroom. I used to be able to do some things with cream of mushroom. My wife hates mushroom, but throw some chicken breast in there, season it real good, get a little bit of rice, you'll be straight.
Absolutely.
You can make that work. The question is, can your boy find some chicken, though?
Well,
what's going on in the meat section?
There's the rub. Yeah, good luck. No meat, no fruit, no canned goods. Yeah, it's a tough time. It's bizarre. I mean, it's eerie when you go through and you see the shelves that are just empty, and you're like, what's happening here? And then they're stocking them as fast as they can, and it's just not doing any help. It's unbelievable.
And the 24-hour stores, this is how much it's impacting everything that we're accustomed to. Like I know I take Walmart for granted. I take the 24-hour Walgreens for granted. I just assume they should be open, but you're hearing from some of those entities that they're no longer going to be 24 hours, that they're going to have to close either at 11, some at midnight, so that they can, one, properly disinfect, and two, so that they can restock shelves, because things are just flying off so rapidly at such a pace. They want to make sure that they have the shelves stocked for when you need it. And if you've ever been in a Walmart at midnight, if you ever been at Walmart at like 2:15 in the morning, you know that when they bring those pallets out, they take up the entire store, the entire aisle. You can't walk up and down the aisle. So they want to do that without people being there, so they don't cause as big a disturbance to you and your typical shopping habits. So they are actually shutting down, well, not shutting down, closing 24-hour Walmarts and other 24-hour stores so that they can properly stock shelves, which is just blowing my mind.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've been a late night Walmart guy for a long time. Being able to go up, and it was always great because that's when there are no people there. So it's a great time to shop at Walmart. But,
only time Walmart has ever had enough checkout people. Only time is when I've gone late at night. That's the only time they've had enough.
And a lot of times they don't even have checkout people. It's just the self-checkout. But at least you can get through.
Yes.
I mean, and so that was always, you took it for granted, and now it's, now there's not really a good time to go. And now I would imagine as soon as it opens up, there are probably lines waiting to get in to get the restocked shelves and the restocked toilet paper to make sure.
I don't know if we got enough toilet paper to be restocked. I think that is just gone.
Man, toilet paper shortage would be bad. I guess bidet sales are probably going up pretty good right now.
Peter, he's not here today, but Peter loves to rub in the fact that he's got a bidet at the house. He loves rubbing that in.
At the house. I know John Harden also.
Johnny has one also. He's more discreet about his bidet. He doesn't rub it in quite like Peter. Peter is all like, "Hey, toilet paper shortage. Bet you wish you had a bidet now." She's like, kind of do though, Peter. This, lucky.
I kind of always wish I had a bidet. And there's ones when we go to Houston, our hotel in Houston. They have
really?
bidets. Yeah, and I never leave the room.
How do you dry? Is there a drying process, or is it just no need to dry?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the proper etiquette. I do know they put like a washcloth there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that is how you dry. I don't know. In fact, the first time I ever used the bidet, I had to look up online to see which way to actually sit because I wasn't 100% sure what I was supposed to be doing. But once I figured that out, it's very enjoyable. And then, I guess you dry with the washcloth. You can dry with paper, but then, I mean, when the paper, then you almost feel like you have to bidet again. So the washcloth, I guess, is the way to go. You're gonna have to ask Peter on that one. I'm not sure exactly what the proper etiquette is on the bidet.
Now I'll figure it out. We're talking with Rob Fisher right now. Rob, the NBA said that the best case scenario they pick back up in June with the season. What would you like to see happen? How would you like to see them do that? Would you like to see them pick back up in June, give a couple of games in the regular season, maybe 5 games in the regular season before going to the playoffs, or would you like to see them pick back up and just go straight into the playoffs?
Well, again, whatever decision they're going to make is, who knows? Mm-hmm. Who knows? Ideally, though, what I would love is to see the rest of the season played out for a couple of reasons. One, selfishly, to get paid for me. But two, this time of year, I would love for this team, the Grizzlies, to be able to really, go through that sort of process, to go through the process of playing these final games where every game means something, instead of just kind of starting the playoffs up where, you don't have that emotional ride into the postseason, and all of a sudden you're just stuck on, okay, here, you're playing the Lakers in the 7-game series or 5-game series, whatever they decide to do. It wouldn't be the experience that I think you're hoping for with this young team. I mean, I think the experience that they were going through when the season was suspended is a great one, that every game matters. I mean, the playoffs have almost started for the Grizzlies, and to go through that where every game you have to raise your level and every game matters, and then if you are to make the playoffs, that sort of accomplishment and what that sort of feeling means for this young team, and then to get to the postseason and just, hey, it's house money if you're in the postseason, and let's just go see what you can do. And I think to go through that experience would be a great learning experience for this young team. To just start the playoffs tomorrow, I don't think you get that full experience of what it's like, what it takes to make it, what it takes to win in it. So I would ideally, I think the best situation would be to be able to play the 17 games and then start the postseason. But I mean, you're talking June or July when things would get started. All of a sudden, you're close to running into next season.
Yeah.
Unless you change the schedule for next season, too. So, I don't know. I mean, to me, I think my best guess, when people ask, obviously, I have no idea what's going to happen. But my guess is that we'll probably just start the playoffs when things get started. Now, that'd be good because that means the Grizzlies are in. But I just don't think it would have that emotional feel and that emotional accomplishment of what playing the rest of the season could do for this team. So I would hope that they are able to find a way to play the remainder of the schedule. But I just don't know if that's possible at this point.
And it's odd. Again, this is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this. But if the season picks back up in June after being put on hiatus in March, that is March, April, May, that's like 2.5, 3 months. That is an off season. Peter has pointed this out several times.
Yeah.
That is an off season. Do you have to come back and do a training camp? People are going to be out of shape. People are going to be, especially with the fact that they're not allowed to do like team practices, and I don't think individual practices anymore either. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. People are going to need some sort of camp to get them back acclimated to playing at a high level. It is just wild to me, everything that's going to have to go into this decision on whether or not to not only finish the season out, but what's going to happen with the playoffs as well.
Well, regardless of the situation, whether it's coming back to play the playoffs or coming back to play the rest of the season, there's going to have to be at least a 2-week period where teams are going to have to get, like you said, back in shape, back in game shape. I mean, you can stay in shape all you want, but there's nothing like game shape. And, being out a week, being out 2 weeks, that takes you out of game shape, and you need to get back in it. And, so to be out a couple of months, definitely there's going to have to be some sort of training camp. I guess you'd hope if you come up with a date and there is a solution of, okay, things are going to be okay, let's say June 15th, we're going to get to go. Well, hopefully that means, by June 1st, that you can get back together and you can have small crowds and you can have small gatherings and you can have a sort of training camp for the team, because it's going to be needed. There's no way you just suddenly pick up and start playing. So yeah, this long process becomes even longer, because when you do have an ability to set a date of when things would come back and resume, it takes at least 2 weeks off of that. And, so guys can practice and guys can get back in the gym. So yeah, that will have to happen. There's no way you can just get right back into it. It's going to take at least a couple of weeks, and that screws up the schedule even more. I guess your hope is when you figure out when you can resume games, you can at least resume get-togethers prior to that, or at least small gatherings. And that's another thing too. When games are safe to be played, will they be played in front of fans? We don't know, and these are all things that are going to have to be answered. And unfortunately, I don't think they have the answers right now. It's just something you have to kind of wait. And I know the league and the board of governors and the owner or the commissioner, and they continue to have conference calls. They've had 3 conference calls since Thursday with the entire league, and I don't know how much progress they're making, because I don't know if they know how much progress they can make. I think a lot of these calls, like yesterday, are talking about, what are we going to do about free agency? What are we going to do about the calendar year? What are we going to do about the draft and workouts for the draft? Are we going to postpone the draft? I mean, all of those things need to be figured out as well. And, every sport that we talk about, there are so many questions. We could sit here and talk about the NCAA and, do you give guys another year of eligibility? Okay, well, if you do that, are you going to expand rosters? What happens to the incoming freshmen? And, so all of those things the questions just go deeper and deeper and deeper. Once you try to solve one thing, so many other questions emerge on other topics that, it's just things that'll have to slowly be figured out as we go along. And, that's what's scary, that you just hope, and I was talking about the ideal situation for the Grizzlies' sake. You just hope that it doesn't get to a point where they just say, what, it's not worth it. We're just scrapping the season, and we'll start up again in October when we feel like things will be safe. And I imagine that's probably a possible scenario that could happen. And I think that'd be really unfortunate, especially for the season that the Grizzlies have put together. It'd be unfortunate for this team to have that happen. But if that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it at this point. You just kind of wait and see and hope that the decisions are the right ones for the health of everyone in the country.
We'll get you out of here on this, Rob. A texter has texted in, First Bank text lines, 67129. John from Covington says, our local convenience stores are locking the bathroom doors because people keep taking the toilet paper.
No.
Yeah. That is where we are right now.
Is that bad?
That's where we are. But listen, I was, at one point in time in my life, I'm ashamed to say it, but I would frequent the Auburn Library because they had the good toilet paper, and I would leave with a couple rolls from Auburn. Definitely would. Rob, thank you so much for joining us, man.
I'm not ashamed to say it on road trips sometimes. You get these nice 5-star hotels, they got a couple extra rolls in the bathroom. Why not, right?
Yes. Yes, but don't do it anymore. Because there's
I'm not in a hotel anymore. So I can't. I mean, that would be perfect. I mean, you just gave me a great idea. I was thinking, oh, great, next trip I can steal the toilet paper. That's a great idea. No, there is no next trip, so I can't even do that.
Rob, thank you so much, man. Stay busy.
If you see me driving around town stopping at every hotel, you know why.
Have a good one, Rob.
Thanks, CJ.
Rob Fisher, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get to a break. When we come back, Drew Hill is going to join us. We're going to talk some about Tigers basketball and NCAA as well. March Madness, Sweet 16 is what we would be talking about had this pandemic, not put everything to a screeching halt. So figured we reach out to Drew and get his thoughts on the Tigers basketball season, March Madness, the cancellation, and more. Don't you dare touch that dial. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings right here on 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Well, let me tell you, it's better than digging a ditch. There ain't no telling who you might be.
Welcome back in.
A movie star,
Sports 56 Mornings. Car wash. Yeah. Why did Disco have to die so soon? Disco had like a 4 or 5 year stretch where it was it. And then all of a sudden just leaves us.
Was that during Soul Train?
Yeah, Soul Train spans the disco era. Yeah. Isn't Soul Train still Soul Train? Isn't Soul Train still going?
I want to say that they're bringing it back, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, but disco was definitely there especially at the very, very beginning of Soul Train. We're going to talk some Tigers basketball. March Madness, unfortunately, is not going on. We all know that. We're going to catch up with our good friend Drew Hill. Drew covers the Tigers for the Memphian. Drew, my man, what's going on?
Nothing much. I've been locked up for, 4 or 5 days now. I'm not going completely crazy yet, but, like the no sports thing, it's not fun and not cool for like a sports radio station. And obviously it's hard to be a sports writer with no sports.
Right.
But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't enjoy a little bit of a break, just because it gets so crazy at the end of the year. I wish it didn't end the way that it did, of course. But I'm trying to enjoy my break as much as possible.
See, the difference between the March Madness and college basketball being ending abruptly and other sports like NHL and NBA ending the way they ended is March Madness is the end of college basketball. It is the end of the basketball season. So we've got the entire regular season and some of the postseason for some of these conferences already played and out of the way. So this seems like a more natural stopping point to me for college basketball than NBA, who still has like 17, 18 games left depending on the team and an entire postseason left to play. So this seems like around the time where you, as a college basketball guy, do get a bit of a break. Naturally.
Yeah, no, it's nice too. And as you know, I sometimes I fill in and I do some Grizzlies work on the side, and I'm sure that was going to be part of the plan. Was like, okay, now Memphis's season is over. The Grizzlies are in this playoff race. Time to switch focuses here, and because most fans in Memphis like both teams, so time to sort of switch focuses here and focus on the Grizzlies playoff run. And then once that was over, you finally get your the break you're supposed to have, but here we are, just in the middle of March, where we should be going crazy over some basketball games and filling out brackets, and instead we're locked in our house. And I'm going crazy. I'm trying to cook some. I cooked last night.
Oh, what you make?
I made some wings. Actually, I'll give them some credit. The commercial appeal photographer Joe Rondoni showed me a wings recipe.
Okay.
That is super basic, but really, really good. And he showed it to me last summer, and I'm still making it today.
Okay. What's the recipe called for? Do you know offhand?
He calls it Sanga sauce. I guess that's the last name of his buddy that he. That's the last name of his friend who showed him the recipe originally, and it's just like some very specific type of oyster sauce and pepper. I hope he doesn't care that I'm letting out a secret right now. But no,
I mean, these are trying
really
times, Drew. These are trying times. We all need things to be doing. I'm sure he wouldn't mind doing his part.
Yeah, of course. He's he's a photographer, but he's my honorary recipe go-to guy.
Yeah, we all have those people involved in our lives. Mine's is Miss Margaret up here. She's the receptionist out front, and whenever I'm feeling a little bit experimental, it's Miss Margaret. What recipe you got for me? This is what I'm thinking. She always makes it better. And Adam Kramer, believe it or not, Bleacher Report's Adam Kramer is the best when it comes to these sorts of things. We talked with Kramer like 45 minutes right before Thanksgiving about how to properly do a turkey. He is great also. Like you can get some of these good recipes from some of the folks that you wouldn't really expect it from.
I shouldn't say that would surprise me, but just I've always thought that I've always associated sports writers as cooking ignorant people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, we're just big dummies. All we know how to do is watch sports, So, no, but it's something to do, I guess. I mean, other than that, I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm not even in Memphis. I went to go see my family up in Gallatin.
Okay.
Just because it's like, all right, if I'm going to be locked down for 2 weeks, I prefer not to be locked down completely on my own,
Right. I understand that entirely, especially if you're not, going into work. But there are things going on with this Tigers basketball program and things going on from an NCAA standpoint that are still pretty interesting as we all try and figure out and try and understand what the new normal is for the time being. The NCAA has, announced that they're not having on and off campus recruiting through April 15th. And right now that is right in the middle of a contact period for men's basketball. What does this do for Penny Hardaway, who they've got some spots to fill on that roster, and they're in the mix with a couple of big time recruits? What does this do for them as they try and pursue recruits and try and get people to come to the University of Memphis?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it changes. I'm not sure that it changes everything or even a whole lot, because they're in the same boat as everybody else. Nobody else can travel to go see these kids either. They're kind of just stuck here. It's you're faced through a phone on FaceTime versus somebody else. And you would hope at this point, this late into recruitment, everything that has needed to be said has already been said. And I think just in general, and you mentioned the big guys that they're in the mix for. I know everybody wants to know about Greg Brown and Jalen Green.
Yep.
I think Memphis still likes their spot for those two guys. Simply, and to be honest, I think a big reason why is because everybody this offseason started to wonder, whether or not Mike Miller was going to be back or not. And that's not because Mike doesn't want to be here, obviously. It's because Mike is going to be a really hot coaching candidate in a lot of different ways. And I think that this COVID-19 stuff is now really going to slow down the coaching market. And I think that there's a reasonable expectation to believe that, unless the perfect job comes up, and that doesn't seem very likely, that Mike is going to be back next year. And obviously Mike is the point man on both of those recruitments of Jalen and Greg. Mm-hmm. So there is more reason to feel optimistic about that right now than maybe there was if you were wondering, okay, man, if all these jobs open up, he's going to be a hot candidate because people are really going to want him. And he's already proven that he can get kids to a school. He was responsible for getting Precious and, or at least a big reason why they ended up getting Precious and Lester Quinones and Bookie Ellis last year. So I think that you're feeling about as good about it as you can. That's not to say that you know that they're going to get both of those guys, but because obviously there's other things in play, like the pros have been something that's been rumored around Jalen Green for a while. Obviously, the coronavirus sort of changes that as well. And then you've got guys like Greg Brown, who posted that his decision's coming soon. And Greg Brown has always been in the mix with Texas, and now it looks like Shaka Smart is going to get another chance because of the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. So you like the position you were in before, and you're kind of still in that same position. But you know, Bruce Pearl is going to throw everything he can at Jalen Green, and you know that Texas is going to continue to push for Greg Brown. But, at least you're not in the position where you feel like you're going to fall back because your point man on these recruitments, may not be back. I think you're feeling better about that right now. And that's the reason why there's still some good confidence there that they are going to end up with a good recruiting class despite all these challenges.
Okay. You brought up Precious Achiuwa, and this is somebody who I'm pretty sure, and everybody is pretty sure that this is it for him. He played his last game as a Memphis Tiger, as we all expect would be going pro. But with the coronavirus and with the fact that the NBA, has halted the season, and take a look at what the NFL is doing with college prospects, how nobody's getting a pro day, and they're lucky that the combine went off well before this self-quarantine stuff started to happen. With all of that being said, the NBA, I do believe, is going to do the exact same thing, where they don't have team personnel flying out to talk to potential draftees, and they're not going to allow potential draftees opportunities to fly out and go to NBA team facilities and work out and things like that. Do you think that helps Precious or hurts Precious?
I don't know. I think it does neither, I guess, because, that just means that wherever your evaluation was before the end of the season is where it will be when the draft happens, if that is the case. And look, Memphis has plenty of guys on their staff that have a lot of NBA ties who will, one, tell it straight. They will tell their NBA people exactly what they think Precious is as a prospect. I don't think that they'll go out of their way to hype him up. Obviously they want him to get drafted very high, but they have a good relationship with those people. So I think Precious will probably end up being picked at the appropriate spot wherever he does go. And then on top of that, he is going to do work. I mean, you can't just stop working out if you're a guy like Precious and you're going to go to the pros. I mean, I know that there was some sort of plan in place for, him and Mike to work out a little bit and get in the gym with strength coach Darby Rich and, get you prepared for the next level this spring. And, you got to follow NCAA rules as far as what you can do for team workouts, but that doesn't mean that Precious isn't going to work out. He's going to get himself ready for the league. And so yeah, no, I don't think it'll really do either. And I think he'll be ready to go once the draft happens, and if it happens in June, who knows if that will even happen at this point.
This is really a real unorthodox situation, a situation that none of us saw coming and none of us really expected. Much like this Tigers basketball season, it began really with the summer. Last summer, everybody was excited. Number one recruiting class in the nation. You got Precious Achiuwa. You got James Wiseman. You got Boogie Ellis to flip. And then you added players like Damian Ball and Lester Quinones and others. And it is, okay, this is a really good class. Memphis is getting votes tied with Houston for preseason favorites to win the American. And we were all kind of shocked that Houston was up there with Memphis. At least I was. And then the season gets started, and the James Wiseman situation happens. And the whole thing from the NCAA coming in the day before or the day of the first game saying, hey, James Wiseman, we think is ineligible, don't play him, to the Penny Hardaway, James Wiseman, all the smoke deciding to fight it, to then James Wiseman deciding not to fight it and still catching a suspension, to him deciding not to play. And then just from there, the season with all of the injuries, Lester Quinones missed time with a hand injury. You still got DJ out with his injury. You've got all of the illnesses that have transpired as well. The Georgia game, they were missing a couple of key players in that game. They were missing players in the Wichita State game also because of illness, and it just never really became what Tigers fans or what we thought the season would be. We thought this was a Sweet 16 team, and it turns out that by the season's end, it was a team that probably needed to win the conference tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. How will you remember this season, and is this season a knock on Penny Hardaway?
No, it's not. I don't think it's a knock on Penny Hardaway. I just think that there were a lot of things that didn't go their way. If you want to say that the James Wiseman saga had something to do with what Penny Hardaway, his decision making and whatnot, that's fine. Like I don't think that's the case, but I can understand how somebody else would view that. But he can't really help the fact that you got a guy like DJ Jeffries have a freak injury late in the year, and frankly, they were fortunate to survive without Lester Quinones for that extended period of time as well. And you're coaching the youngest team in the country, so you're going to lose games that you probably should win. And I think maybe that was where the bar might have been set a little bit too high in the preseason, and even with James, because you got to understand that, like, if you just go back and you look at history and you look at some of these young teams, I mean, outside of the two national champion teams and maybe the 38-1 Kentucky team in 2015, young teams just lose games that they were supposed to win, and that just happens. They lose on the road. And so we probably should have accounted for a few more of those losses now. Would they have lost by 40 points at Tulsa with James Wiseman? No, probably not. But I don't view it as a knock. I think it didn't go as they planned. They still had a chance to make it to the tournament and sort of rectify things at the end. But it didn't go as planned. A lot of it was out of Penny Hardaway's hands. Do I think that they could have finished with a better record? Yeah, and I think Penny would tell you that too, that there were some games that they lost, that home games, I should say, that they absolutely should have won. I think Penny would be the first one to tell you that. That's why he gave himself a B on the season when he was asked to grade his season. But I don't think it's a knock. I think the season went well, not the best, but went well given all of the adversity that they had to face over the course of the year.
All right, thank you, Drew, so much for joining us today. That is Drew Hill, the Tigers basketball beat writer for the Daily Memphian. Follow him on Twitter at DrewHill_DM. Drew, keep cooking, man.
Appreciate it. See you.
See you later. Drew Hill. We've got to get to a break. We're coming back. We're going to talk some about what may have transpired in a rather contentious meeting between DeAndre Hopkins and Bill O'Brien. And we're going to get you set for middays right here on Sports 56 Mornings on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallow and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Upon official review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Get to Holly Chevrolet in Marion to take advantage of great deals during Holly's 2020 kickoff sale. Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months on the all-new 2020 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab plus $500 cash allowance. Or save up to $4,500 off MSRP plus an additional $1,000 conquest on a new 2020 Chevy Equinox. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no badgers and never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at Exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. HollyChevrolet.com.
2020 Chevy Silverado 1500, stock number M4007. 2020 Chevy Equinox, stock number M4198. 0% financing on approved credit. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify and finance for GM Financial and own or lease a 2006 or newer GM product. Prices do not include taxes, tags, title, and registration. Take delivery by 3/31/20. See dealer for details.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company. The coronavirus situation is causing a lot of cancellation of events, schools, concerts, sporting events, and all kind of social gatherings. It's called social distancing, but you do not have to be distant mentally from everyone in the community because Flynn Broadcasting is with you. We love you. We want to make sure that you are connected and protected from the coronavirus. So keep listening to this Flynn Broadcasting station. We'll keep you informed, we'll keep you in touch, and we'll keep you connected to your friends. So as soon as this situation is over, we can go back to our normal living. I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting Company saying we love our community, we love you as individuals, and we are committed to your well-being.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Young man, there's no need to
What's coming up next on Midday?
Coming up on Middays, you got Jerry Palm.
Okay.
You got the head coach of East Tennessee State University,
Oh.
Steve Ford.
Unfortunately, one of those teams that really got hit hard by March Madness, they were going to be in.
Yeah. He's by far one of my favorite coaches in college basketball.
Mm-hmm. What else?
And also Russell Baxter will come on to talk about the NFL.
Michael Irvin Michael Irvin earlier today was discussing the DeAndre Hopkins situation, the trade from the Texans to the Cardinals. He said that part of what happened was an erosion of the relationship between Hopkins and Bill O'Brien, the head coach for the Texans. He said O'Brien called Hopkins into a meeting and started the meeting by saying, the last time I had a meeting like this, it was with Aaron Hernandez. Which, why would you even... I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is out here living that Hernandez life. I think there was only one of those. That would be like having a meeting and saying, hey, last time I had a meeting like this, I had to have it with O.J. Simpson. Like, no, there's no reason to equate me to either one of those. And then later on in the meeting, he said Bill O'Brien was upset that Hopkins would bring the mother of his children around. And Bill O'Brien didn't like that and really questioned how DeAndre Hopkins was living his life. And it all sort of stems from a power struggle between who's in charge, the coach or the player. Hopkins has a lot of influence because when you're a player of the caliber and of the character as DeAndre Hopkins, you have influence and sway in the locker room.
Over under how many games Bill O'Brien gets fired?
I don't know if he'll get fired. They've been in the playoffs the past couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think this will be enough to fire him. I wish they would make him no longer the GM, though. It'll be in everybody's best interest for that to be the case. Stay tuned. Middays is next. Y'all take care.
Hey, sports fans, you already know